How you doing tonight? I'm a little tired. We were out late last night. What a great night raising money for the Gigalotti family last night. That JFK show off event. What a wild night. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I see a lot of comments, a lot of support. Some people are getting weird about the competing, what they call in competition between the two events. I didn't see it that way. Um, some people obviously want the drama and see it that way, but I will say the JFK event was booked well before Turtle Boy's event, and it was booked early because it was basically booked around Nan's schedule, Nan Gallagher. So when I agreed to do this was even before it was booked. Actually, was when they did the last event. I said I was all in, and especially knowing more recently that it was going to be a fundraiser for the Gigalotti family. I was very happy to do that last night. It was a lot of fun. I actually won the 50-50 raffle. I bought $20 of raffle tickets for the Gigalotti family, and I won the 50-50 raffle after they called me Making Money Mike. Making Money Mike wins the 50-50 raffle. I think it was $265 I would have won. And I just said instantly, I'd already thought this in my head. If I win this, I'm giving it right back to the family, the Gigalotti family. And of course, they were right there. And I said, "How much is it, JFK?" And I think he said 265 is your take. And I said, "Give it all back to the family." And they were so happy. And then I looked over and LTL is like raising his hand saying, "I'll match it. I'm throwing 265 down too." So it was, and people started throwing money out. It's a great night. A lot of different people, a lot of free Karen Reed people there, and supporting the Gigalotti family. We talked about Kelsey Fitzsimmons as well. That's why I was there last night, and to see some great people. I love you all. It was great to see so many of you. So much fun last night. I had a lot of fun. I may play some of that video. Tonight, I just wanted to play some video that streamed earlier in the week that I didn't get to see or cover because we were covering the Kelsey Fitzsimmons thing, the court date, and I thought it was very interesting about the sports gambling and the mafia, and so I figured we'd play this because I'm very interested in watching this. We can watch this together and look more into this. We'll definitely be covering this. But we have a big week of shows upcoming. A lot of stuff going on this week for us. On Monday night, 6 p.m., I want to let you know this is going to be a very close friend of Kelsey named Megan, who's going to be live on the show. 6 p.m. on Monday. We're going to be talking about her friendship with Kelsey. She's going to tell us some stories about Kelsey. I'm really looking forward to this. And if you have questions, please be there and ask them because that's what we're looking for with that episode. The community come out. We'll do some fundraising for her like we always do. I can't wait. Please get the word out too. Please share it on your Twitter. Make sure you hit the notification bell on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you watch it, and share it with your friends. Invite your friends to it. Monday night, 6 p.m. Make sure you're here bright and early. I'm looking forward to that on Monday night. And some other shows are going to have upcoming. I think Howie Carr is going to be coming on the show again this week sometime to talk about his new book. And Robbie Roadstein, I'm working on something. There's also another story I'm looking at with the ballot initiative, some crazy stuff going on there. A couple other things too. Probably have Corey back on, Corey Hopkins on back on the show as well. So there's so many things we're working on, so many uh, stories and guests. And also on Friday, I'm going to be hosting the Grace Curley show again on Friday from 12 to 2. So this is going to be a big week for us. I hope you're checking us out. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like us. We're going to be covering a lot of different injustices all across the state, like we have been, and just kind of ripping it up, starting to really get back into the rhythm here. And it was really fun last night to get that kind of personal validation from people. It was really exciting to hear what people have liked on the coverage and people telling us which shows and guests they like the best, and to put faces with some of your screen names because I see some of you in the chat right now. And oh look, I just pulled out some. I pulled out another gift. I forgot about this gift. This is someone gave me a joint last night. Their home grow. I never smoked it. I forgot about it. I didn't even know where it was. And now I just put this hoodie back on and I realize here it is. So that's something I'm gonna enjoy a little later tonight from the party last night. And if you didn't get to watch, we did play a little You can watch it on the members only on the JFK show off. If you remember there, we also did, I did post a little video, maybe we'll play it tonight to end the show, of the Gigalotti family specifically speaking last night. Becca again and her mom, I believe it was, the aunt. It was that was powerful. And the moment of silence, like that was, and seeing us give the money to them, like, and how thankful they were, like how thankful Becca and her family are. I felt that last night. That's why I was there last night. Support the Gigalottis. Felt good. Felt good. I want to thank everyone in the community that supported it last night. How's the chat doing? What's going on in the chat? Oh, Sherry D, my mod. I was just talking to her about dogs. We're talking about but we're not even gonna say what we're talking about. We're having a private laugh about dogs and some people who can't handle the dogs. Apparently, it's just funny. It's just funny shit. I'm trying not to get in trouble, Sherry D. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Amy LA 1972. Thank you so much. Says thanks for signing my jean jacket. Oh my god, that was amazing. And you gave me some advice too while I was signing a bags. Another friend there, she had bought a Young Jerks bag and she had me sign her bag. And Amy was giving me advice on how to sign it because I really didn't know. Like it's hard when you sign things. That's not something I'm used to. I'm not artistic with my writing. So I think I said I think on that the bag I might have just said Mike, I love what's up jerks or something like that. Something about what's up jerks I think it was. But I never know what to sign. Thank you so much. That's it was fun. Yeah, JFK looked great. We at one point he took off his hoodie. He got all fired up. He showed his pipes, and I'm just like, oh my god! Like I knew he was like strong and shit, but I mean, I just think when he took his 2 weeks off, all he was doing is in the gym, like fucking, like that's what it looked like. It looked like for the last 2 weeks he took off, he's hit the gym like probably 2.5 hours every day. He's just like, oh, I'm good now. I hit the gym for 2.5 hours. I'm good now. I'm calm. Like, because I mean, his arms were like, I'm like, dude, could those arms be any swollener? Like, they were just like, dude. I mean, I'm a wrestler. I'm used to guns. I got long, more skinny arms. I'm more of a longer, lankier wrestler, quick. But I got some muscle, but I'm not jacked. I know. Even when I was at my height, I've never been totally jacked. But I've been around those guys. I've wrestled a lot of muscle guys, and Jesus Christ, dude, he's got and bodybuilders like John Cena, his brothers. They were all bodybuilders, a lot of bodybuilders. Um, but Jesus Christ, that dude has pipes. That dude has pipes. Like they're guns. It's like Popeye guns. And that's the thing too. It was fun last night. The audience was nice. Like I don't know. Sometimes I go to some of these events. I'm just gonna say, and it feels like you're a commodity. Like you're an object. People grabbing you, and it's like I didn't feel like that last night. People were like treating us like humans. Like they were like having conversations and they were very nice. Everyone was like they weren't interrupting us to like take photos and they were like waiting their turn and be like, "Hey, I've been waiting a while. Do you mind if I take a?" They were very nice about it. Like everyone was so nice last night. Like they were real. It was a real audience. I really enjoyed. I could tell the folks there last night were there for the cause, for Gigalotti, for Kelsey Fitzsimmons, for Karen Reed, for John O'Keefe. I felt that last night. The right audience was there. It's good crowd. Yeah, it felt like a real VFW party. Exactly. Yeah, everyone was very cordial. There's no attitudes. There was no like trying to be. Sometimes it seems like there's a cool kids clicking a lot of this shit, and there was none of that last night. It just felt like we were all equal. We were all the same. We are all just happy, friendly, no drama, no airs, no grabbing you and I need to talk to you. Like this, so that happens a lot. You'll be talking to someone, and then some person like literally grab you for your attention. That didn't happen last night. I didn't feel any of that. I didn't have to tell anyone I got a bad back. Don't grab me too tightly because that's sometimes they do that too. Like none of that last night. It was just so chill and nice and calm. I loved it. Yeah, Nan's got some guns too. I was just saying she looked like because it was kind of a prom. It felt like a prom theme kind of. And I was looking at her outfit. I'm like, she's Sandy. She is Sandy from Grease Lightning. Remember Grease when Sandy at the prom gets all dressed up in the leather pants and she's hot. Like that was Nan last night. It was like, wow. She got the guns, you know what I mean? Like it was great. I had fun. Like Nan's not only, the usual powerful self on the microphone and her words and her passion and all that, but she's also like, strong physically too. Like I would not mess with her. It's like Sandy. It's the same thing on Sandy. Like Sandy in Greece is, kind of special. She's beautiful and she's a little different than the other girls. But then you see her in her Grease Lightning outfit, and you're like, oh, that's a side we didn't know existed. Don't mess with Sandy. That's when you knew not to mess with Sandy anymore. In Grease Light in the movie Grease, right? I would not mess with Nan. That'd be my advice to anybody. She's not afraid to defend herself. All right, let's not talk anymore about the party or people. Let's get into what I wanted to do. We might check out the space tonight too. Meredith is doing a space, I think, on some of the shit going on with Jess Machado at 7. I think I might play that tonight as well. We just have some fun, see what the hell's going on over there. But right now, let's bring up this U.S. attorney. I want to see what's going on with the mafia, the NBA, and the gambling. This is wild. Fixing games. They basically fixing games, the mafia, and fixing poker games too. Fixing NBA games and
Welcome,
fixing poker
everyone. That's
games.
U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella. Then FBI Director Kash Patel will speak. He will then turn the podium over back to U.S. Attorney Nocella, who will go over a detailed summary of both indictments. Following U.S. Attorney Nocella, it will be FBI Assistant Director in Charge Christopher Rea, RAIA. He's in charge of the FBI's New York field office. He will be followed by Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent in Charge Ricky Patel. And after Ricky Patel, Police Commissioner Jess.
It's funny you asked, do I have a grease fetish? I wouldn't say I have a grease fetish, but I think every young guy growing up, if you like girls, you like Sandy. You like Sandy in Grease. She's Olivia Newton-John, beautiful. She's beautiful as a co-ed, with the long skirt, and she's just as beautiful in the leather pants and the leather jacket. She's just so I would think it just as a young man, I had an attraction to Sandy from Greece, like most young men would. All right, let's go back to the let's stop talking about Sandy and my young man dreams.
Tish will deliver remarks. There will be some other people standing up here at the podium who will not have speaking roles. You may recognize some of them. It'll be Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny will be up here, but he will not make remarks. Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent in Charge Mike McCarthy from Newark will be standing up here also. And the executive.
Well, by the way, I'd like to. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn. I hope I'm not. But there's a lot of talk about Nan and people she might be dating and all this other crap. It's a lot of crap that I've heard. It's just ridiculous. And it's funny because I met her boyfriend last night, who's not a YouTuber. And he actually graduated from the college I did, Bridgewater State. So we were laughing our asses off. Two Bridgewater guys. I talked to him quite a bit last night. Good guy. It's just funny. It's just funny after all the bullshit. There she is with her boyfriend that nobody knows. As usual, the gossipers, they get everything wrong every time. They're never right. The gossipers are never right. How lame are they? They sit there and gossip about other people's lives and they're wrong. They got all the time in the world for that kind of BS, and they don't even get it right. They can't even get that right. I wonder what their lives are like. I wonder what their houses look like. I wonder what their if they make do they make the bed in the morning? How are their kids? How are their animals? Do the animals behave? I don't think so. I don't think they have any control over anything if that's what they're worried about, and they don't even get that right.
Executive Director of the Waterfront Commission, Phoebe Sorial, will also be up here but not make remarks. The U.S. Attorney is going to introduce them in his welcoming remarks. We will take some questions after all of the speakers have finished speaking. We're not going to take any off-topic questions. We're just taking questions on the 2 indictments here today. The indictments are on.
No, it's funny. He doesn't look like John Travolta. He actually looks like a wrestler. I don't know why. I thought the guy. I go, did you wrestle at Bridgewater State? Like, because he told me he graduated from there. And he's like, no. I'm like, you look like a wrestler. You just have the hat and the ear. It's funny. He looked like a wrestler to me. He wasn't a wrestler, but no, he doesn't look like John Travolta. He doesn't look like Danny. All right, let's get to the video. No more of that stuff.
Right now, so we have copies of the. Well, it looks like most of them are gone now, but there were copies of the indictments and the detention letter on that table, and I'm going to email them out to everyone on our media list as well. You will see that in the detention letter, which is the organized crime case, the rigged poker game case, there are pictures in that filing. You're free to use the pictures that are in the filing, or if you want JPEG copies of the pictures, we've put them in a Dropbox. So if you want the JPEG versions of those pictures, send me an email, and I'll send you an invitation to the Dropbox, so you'll have access. You can then download those pictures, okay? And as to probably 2 of the defendants here that are getting the most media interest, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, they're going to appear in federal courts in the districts where they were arrested. Terry Rozier will be appearing in federal court in Orlando, Florida, sometime this afternoon. I can't tell you precisely, but sometime around 1 or 2 o'clock. Chauncey Billups in federal court in Portland. I don't know approximately what time that would be. They will both be arraigned on their indictments. They're in separate indictments, but they'll be arraigned on their indictments here in Brooklyn at a future date. The defendants that were arrested here in our area will be arraigned across the street sometime this afternoon. I believe there's about 31 people in custody, and there will be some who will self-surrender. So that's where things stand right now. Okay, so I'm going to go get the speakers, and we'll start in a couple of minutes, okay? Anybody have any questions? It's John, John, Marzulli, Marzulli, at usdoj.gov. Okay, see you in a couple of minutes. Can you spell your last name again? Marzulli.
Did just turn my volume down a little bit. I don't know if that helps. It's my first time watching this, so I'm not sure what the hell's going on. They start the press conference and then they stop it. What is this junior mafia stuff? Oh man, let me see if I can skip ahead and see where they come back. Are they coming back? When are they coming back? Is that it? That's not it. Come on.
Current NBA players and coaches.
There we go. This is what I'm waiting for.
Newark Special Agent.
Here we go. Here come the wonky wonks. Is it a kind of a waste of time? Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joseph Nocella. I am the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. I'd like to welcome you here today. In addition, we have with us today FBI Director Kash Patel, FBI Assistant Director in Charge Christopher Rea of the New York Field Office, Special Agent in Charge of the New York Field Office Leslie Bakshi's, New York Special Agent in Charge of Homeland Security Ricky Patel, Newark Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security, Michael McCarty, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, and the Executive Director of the Waterfront Commission, Phoebe Sorrell. I'm now going to turn the podium over to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but
This is the thing. Great comment here. We know there's gambling rings. I think gambling rings have kind of gone down because of obviously legalized gambling now. Not like it used to be in the 70s and 80s when, those little, what do we call those? Those cards. You remember you fill out your card? The mafia cards we used to fill out. My grandfather always had one of them. The illegal gambling rings back in the day. But this isn't really about so much the illegal aspect of it, which, obviously it is. They're going to probably charge them with that too, but it's the actual fraud of it. There's some kind of fraud on it where they basically had a player sit out so that they could win the under on his prop bet, which is it's fixing. It's game that's the allegation. Game fixing. So fixing a game using a player. And there's also allegations that they were fixing poker games, that the mafia was fixing these poker games and basically stealing whales' money. Big time people who gamble in these mafia houses, basically. They had like hidden cameras and all these little games that they were playing so that the house would win, that they could steal the money from the rich, probably the rich basketball players actually. And that's one of the allegations here is that some of the basketball players were like recruiting some of their rich friends, right? So that they could basically get robbed by the mafia who were fixing the poker games. If that's true, that's wild because as far as I know, I think the mafia was always kind of on the level with their gambling. I mean, the house always wins in the end because the odds favor them. They're going to make sure of that. But beyond that, I always felt like the mafia and them were probably being pretty level on the, especially the poker games and stuff. Because if people figure out that the house is fixing the games, who's going to gamble there anymore? If this is true, this is wild. And if it's not true, it's going to damage the mafia poker games. That's for sure. Because if you can't trust the folks you're gambling against, and it's the mafia, you're not going to gamble there, right? So the allegations in this are pretty wild. I don't know if it's true. The fact that it includes NBA players and like other people said, who else could it go to? There's a lot of rumors about bigger NBA names. Some of the types you might not be surprised to see them playing poker. There's some big names we've seen playing probably legal poker games. I wonder if they go to the illegal poker games. I wonder if they're caught up in this. Be interested to see if any of the other players are either involved or had their money stolen. Maybe they had their money stolen at some of these games by the mafia and the rigged games. This is interesting. We'll see what they tell us.
The scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people for money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the
This is the wild part. Back in the day, you couldn't gamble at all if you were a player. Now it seems like they allow gambling. I don't get that because that's exactly the problem. Some of these, especially athletes, especially big money athletes, they take a lot of risk and they have egos and then they end up losing a lot of money. And these NBA players and a lot of pro sports athletes are very reckless with their money. They make millions of dollars and 5 years later they're bankrupt because they don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to save it. And these guys, this is a good comment. Lots of players are big gamblers. They end up owing money and paying it back by setting up games. And that's the oldest game in the book. That's why if you're a professional player, you should never gamble. And a lot of them do. Like, look at Michael Jordan. He was a prolific gambler. I believe Charles Barkley, probably Larry Bird. I bet Larry Bird gambled too. Like, they all did. They all still do, right? Yeah, X-ray tables. This is what the mafia was using. They were using allegedly X-ray tables, special glasses, card shuffling. If you hear that and you've been going to these mafia games, you're done. You're not going back. Especially if you lost some money. Now you're sitting and going, "Holy shit! No wonder why I lost 200 grand that night. The mafia was rigging the game against me. I'm a sucker. You're not going back." This seems like it's bad for business. That's why I don't believe it in a way. I can't believe, but maybe the mafia is so hard up now that they don't get the business like they used to with the gambling because it's legalized. So the only way to really make it is to rip some big whales off, right? Like, I don't know. This is wild. I almost can't believe it that they would ruin their own business like that. Like I went in Bridgewater State. There was always a guy on campus that was a mafia backed bookie, a college kid. And I actually lived with one of them at one point for a short time. And I know, so I kind of know, and saw a lot of my friends were gamblers back then. I never gambled in college. I think I placed one bet and won, and that was it. Kept the money. You took my $100 and that was it. But yeah, I mean they would always say like we always pay out. We always pay out because if we don't, if we nobody's gonna gamble with us anymore. Like that was kind of the unspoken word that you don't get screwed by the mafia backed bookie, right? So for them to do that, that's pretty wild. I can't believe it actually, but it seems like that's what happened here. Let's watch a little more of this. Cash
men and
Patel.
women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney
It's funny too. I knew another kid who I used to work at this restaurant, the Grog in Newburyport, and his mom worked there. And we kind of came up around the same age. I think I might have been a year or two older than him, but he was a great football player in high school out of Newburyport High School. He was a quarterback. He broke a lot of records in high school. He was a really nice kid, a smart kid. Uh, everything you want in a kid. You know what I mean? Like he's gifted athletically. He's nice. He's smart. He's kind. You don't see that a lot with some kids that are jocks. Let's put it that way. And he was, and he ended up going to a big time. Well, not a big time school. I think like Division 2, and he had some success there too. I think it was Bryant College, maybe. I'm trying to remember which one he went to. Maybe it was Bentley. It was one of those types of schools where he got a good education. He was a good quarterback. Um, and then he got caught. He was the kid that was caught up in the mafia linked BC betting scandal. And I'm not sure what happened to him. I imagine that must have ruined his life. So I've seen this a lot with college kids and sports kids and the gambling. It sucks, because I liked him. People who are from Newburyport probably know who I'm talking about because he was that type of athlete. He was a great athlete. So this stuff happens a lot actually in colleges. A lot of college kids bet, and a lot of times the colleges have a college student who is basically representing the mafia on campus and taking the bets. That's at least back in the day. I don't know if that still exists, but when I went to school in the late 80s and early 90s in colleges, that's the way it was. And that was this kid, I believe, got caught up in one of those rings. He's a great athlete too. He had a great future ahead of him. I don't know what happened to him. I should look him up. All right, let's get back to this.
To bring this case because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court, and you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nosella. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Patel. To be clear, we're announcing today indictments in two major cases, both involving fraud. One involves sports betting, and the other involves illegal gambling, very specifically rigged poker games. The first indictment involves 6 defendants who are alleged to have participated in one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams. The second indictment involves 31 defendants alleged to have participated in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Casa Nostra.
This comment because there's so much truth to it. Does anyone want to hear more about the Epstein files in addition to the Mafia NBA debacle? I know they don't want to talk about that, right? The FBI doesn't want to talk about any of that stuff. There's a lot to talk about that they don't want to talk about with the FBI because it's too politicized. Speaking on that front, I don't know if you folks saw Attorney Mark Bedero's post today. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but I just saw it this morning and I was like kind of shit myself and shocked. The last time he came on the show, we talked about he's got this new client that he's representing, and basically there's some type of huge scandal on an Epstein level, and I'm not sure it's connected to Epstein or it's a different ring that's similar to Epstein, but this woman is a victim of it that he's representing. And Bedero said that when this finally comes out, that a lot of us will stop listening to certain musicians and artists and movies. That a lot of celebrities have done truly awful things that he can't even listen to certain music anymore. And then he made a post about U2, and it was kind of dissing on them. And one of the podcasters, the one Rebecca, who I really like, Lavoy, I think her last name is, from New Hampshire NPR. She's a true crime podcaster with public radio up there in New Hampshire. She noted how much money they had raised. U2 had raised billions of dollars for charities, and he got back to her and said, "Yes, but when you see what I know, basically, you'll think differently." And it's about Bono, it seems like. So I don't know. I don't know what it's about, but I think a lot of us trust Bettero, and I think that it seems like Bettero is going to be going up against Bono upcoming somehow. That's what it seems like, which sucks because I've bashed on them a little bit, some of their music, but I just posted their first real song video, and it's a great song. Like when they first came out, they were phenomenal. They did have some great songs. Their first several albums, and they're like a rock institution. I just hate it for rock music. If that's the case, like, do you remember the guy from False Prophets or something like that? Was it? I forget his name. The guy from England, the terrible pedophile, Ian Watkins. There. The thing about that is like nobody really, like in America, like knew his music or really like not like U2. U2 is like they're like iconic rock band too, like a real rock band, a real garage band. That's gonna really suck if that's the case. I really hope it's not. But Bettero's making hints about it.
Well, the cases are separate. There are 3 overlapping defendants charged in both cases: Damon Jones, Eric Ernest, and Shane Hennon. The indictments in these cases contain only allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty in a court of law. But my message to the defendants who've been rounded up today is this.
Uh, just I love this. Never meet your heroes. There is some truth to that, but I also add because they're humans. Your heroes are human, so they're gonna invariably let you down in some weird way, minor way even. And sometimes it's just like one-on-one interaction didn't satisfy you. They didn't acknowledge you. They didn't whatever. But the reality is, the way I treat this is never have any expectations, never have any high expectations. And if you have no expectations about meeting your heroes and then you meet them and it actually turns out great, then you feel good, right? I think it's more about our expectations going into it because I've met a lot of my heroes and sometimes it's been pretty good. I met Peter Wolf. I like Peter Wolf. I love Peter Wolf. I grew up on his music. And when I met him, he said to me, Mike, I just got your name, but don't get mad at me if I see you again and don't remember your name. I'm bad with names. And some people might take offense to that, right? And I just laughed and I just said, Peter, doesn't matter to me. I listened to you in second grade on the school bus with remember those little, I don't even know what they call them. They had the handle. It wasn't even a boom box, before boom boxes. Just to get to shake your hand and be in the same room with you and know that you're friends with my friend who introduced me to you. It's all I needed, bro. That exceeded expectations. That he even said my name. You know what I mean? Like shook my hand. So I'd say when you meet your heroes, never have any expectations about it. And then maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that. First, I would like to talk about United States versus Ernest, the NBA basketball gambling.
You know what the funniest thing about Jay Giles and Peter Wolf? This week he actually liked one of our tweets. I was responding to him. He liked one of our tweets. She still doesn't know my name. I mean, how many times I talked about him on my show now? He doesn't know who I am. Doesn't matter to me. He made great music that I enjoyed, and I got to shake his hand. I mean, that alone is just, it's funny. And he liked one of my tweets.
case.
Pretty cool.
The defendants in this case are Eric Ernest, Marvez Farley, Shane Hennon, De Niro Laster, Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach, and Terry Rozier, a current NBA player. Other co-conspirators were previously charged for their roles in the scheme, including former NBA player Jonte Porter. Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside, non-public information.
That's the other thing I really liked about Peter Wolf. Someone just said, "I love him. He's so down to earth. He really is." Like if you live in Cambridge and Somerville, it's not unusual for you to see him around town. He's a regular guy. He goes out, socializes. You'll see him at. I've seen him before. Like that was the first time I actually talked to him because I got introduced to him, and it was cool to say hi to him. But I've seen him when I used to live in Cambridge and Somerville, just running around town. You'd see him out, and he's just a normal guy. He's normal. He talks to you normal too. That's what I liked about him. He wasn't all like, "Oh, I gotta pretend to like you, even though I don't know who you are." You know what I mean? He was just like, "Mike, I'm not gonna remember your name. If I see you around town, don't be mad at me." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not one of them spazzes. Believe me. I don't expect you to remember my name, but I'll always remember you, dude, because Angel in a centerfold, freeze frame."
About NBA athletes and teams. The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early.
See, that's the funniest thing of all. So, Kathy says he does great interviews. Ask him to come on the show. I probably could get him on the show, actually. But the thing is, like, I don't feel like I know enough. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna interview someone like that, I really need to know everything about them, or like more than I know. Like, I'm a fan from like his music back in the '70s and '80s and stuff. Like, but I'm not like a super fan. Let's just put it that way. Um, but maybe I'll read his book. My girlfriend has his book. If I read his book and I feel like there's something to discuss, maybe that's what I'll do. But that's why I haven't reached out to him, honestly. I'm gonna have Robbie Roadsteamer on the show because I know everything about him. I came up with him. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why sometimes I don't interview some of these music people that I actually know because I don't really know enough about their music or career. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable enough about the subject matter or topic. So that's why I would love to have Eddie Vedder on because I know all about Eddie. You know what I mean? I'd have a million things to talk to Eddie Vedder about. But maybe I just need to brush up on my Peter Wolf a little more because I think that would be actually a good interview, and I bet I could get it.
For purported injuries or illnesses. They
He is a
relied
great
on
showman.
corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained.
Wait. Well, this is a funny one, Nanya. You know why this is funny? I got to tell you, Nanya, I love this one. This is a great comment. But you know why it's funny to me? I'm going to read it. I bet Vermin Supreme would come on your show. Would you know that Vermin Supreme has been on my show many times? Many, many times. And the guy I'm having come up, Robbie Roadsteamer, has done a lot of things with Vermin Supreme. So we've had Vermin on many times. He's a friend. He's funny as hell. Yeah. That's what's you guys. It's funny. We've had some big interviews like way back that people have no idea about. We had I had Odorous Arungus from Guaron. I don't know if people know him on the same episode with Barney Frank. Congressman Barney Frank on an episode of our that was back when we were streaming. We weren't even on YouTube back then. We were doing a streaming internet station, but it was under actually it wasn't the Young Jerks. It was called the Hotheads. That was a different show actually. Odorous Arungus, but that was a wild episode. Having a congressman with Odorous Arungus who's talking about snorting ants up his nose, like so we've had some crazy shows, and Vermin Supreme used to come on that show a lot. The Two Hotheads show. I'm trying to think if he's ever been on the Young Jerks. I'm sure he has, probably when we first started. But he was almost a regular on the Hotheads. He was like one of the first like major politicians that would come on the show in a way, even though he's not major, but who had a name. It's funny. So yeah, he's a friend. He's a local guy. He lives up in Gloucester. Yeah, the boot on the head. He would set up the boot on his head in the studio. We do the cardboard. And my friend, like I have a lot of friends who are friends with him. Like he was in a movie, Pony Trouble. There's a movie my friends made. They're the ones who made Quiet Desperation with Robbie Roachsteamer. Pony Trouble. I think Vermin was very influenced by that cult movie Pony Trouble that my friends made, which is funny. So there's a lot of crossover among the Massachusetts, let's put it that way, community of alternative culture, the counterculture, some might call it, activism. We all know each other. Oh, someone asked about Nan's boyfriend. Does he look like Dan Gable? That's it. He does look like Dan Gable. He looked like he could probably. He looked like he'd probably done some wrestling. He definitely looks like Dan Gable. That's the funniest thing. That's what I thought. Like this dude's a Dan Gable lookalike.
Through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts. Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop.
I gotta say, this is the easiest question of all. This is so easy for me. Mike, do you know the original name of Pearl Jam? No Googling. It's Mookie Blaylock, of course, named after a basketball player. Yeah, of course. And I think I mean I even know stuff. I believe the first show they ever played was the Off Ramp in Seattle, right? Like I know all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, of course. Monkey Wrench Radio. Do you remember Monkey Wrench Radio? That was great. I love Monkey Wrench Radio.
Bets on individual player performance. The bets were placed through online sports books and also in person at casinos. The defendants relied on a network of straw bettors to place the maximum amount of bets to increase their potential profits. Most of these bets succeeded.
You know I'm into Pearl Jam when I can name every single one of the drummers. Dave Cruson, right? That was the first one. Then it was Dave I can't even say his last name. Aberdeezy. And then there was did I miss one? Jack Irons, number 3, right? And then Matt Cameron. Am I missing one? I think that was all 4 of them. So I even know all the drummers. I know Boom plays the keyboards. I even know the bit players. I know the new kid Josh. I wonder who the new drummer is. I'm sure they have one.
Losses were in the millions of dollars. The defendants then laundered their illegal winnings in various ways. Peer-to-peer platforms, bank wires.
Oh, no, Mookie Betts is a baseball player that the Red Sox got rid of. Mookie Blaylock was a basketball player back in the day when Pearl Jam was first getting started. That they liked. Pearl Jam always liked going to basketball games. Jeff, the bassist, is a basketball player. Eddie likes sports. He's a surfer, but he likes basketball. He's a little short guy, but he likes basketball. I can't get this going
And
yet.
simple cash exchanges. The indictment details specific examples where the defendants profited from illegal gambling and illegal betting on various NBA games about the performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus Aiello, the rigged poker game case. Beginning as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the
It's funny. Doesn't give you a lot of confidence that they have all the facts correct when they get the names of the basketball teams wrong. The Toronto Rangers. I think he meant the Raptors, right? I don't even follow this stuff anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's the Toronto Raptors, not the Rangers. The Rangers are in Texas, right? Texas Rangers baseball. They have a New York Rangers. That's hockey. I don't think there are. There's no Rangers team in basketball. I don't think there ever has been. Yeah, Billups. It's funny because Billups, he was a Celtics at one point too, and the other guy was too. Two of them, two of the guys indicted here are former Celtics, right?
Portland Trailblazers, and also Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach. What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam. Once the game was underway, the defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. The defendants used a variety of very sophisticated cheating technologies.
You know what's funny about that? I love this comment. Soft white underbelly had a guy on twice that said he was the largest bookie. He brought up baseball. Funny how these guys are getting heat now. I don't think it's that funny. Uh, and what I mean by that is that some of these shows seem like they're snitch shows, right? You ever notice like Adam 12 or whatever his name is, and Vlad TV, and this white underbelly guy? They seem like they collect evidence for the government, on YouTube. It's funny how back in the day the criminals would never talk, would never snitch. Now people snitch on themselves on YouTube, whether it's on their show or another show. At least some of these other shows like Vlad TV and Adam 22 and this other guy, Soft White Unbelievable, at least they pay people to snitch on themselves. Some people just do it. They go up on their YouTube and they snitch on themselves and they don't even make any money on it. I just can't believe this world now that people aren't smart enough to shut their friggin' mouths. They go up on YouTube and make it worse. We've been noted. I've said some stuff recently, and I wasn't snitching on myself. I was basically telling them, shut the hell up. You know you're on YouTube changing your story, right? Like that's good legal advice. I guarantee you, if they talk to a lawyer, the lawyer would say the same goddamn thing. I'm wondering where these people lawyers are. Especially if you are actually one of the biggest bookies, what the hell are you going on a YouTube show and talking about it? He said the bookie was going to prison the next day. Is he giving up his leverage on a YouTube channel? Like, what's up with that? You'd at least think you'd save it for the, if you want to be a snitch, go be a snitch. But if you tell everything you know out to the public, maybe your leverage is gone. I don't know. Not smart. I just can't believe that people snitch. Not only snitch on other people, but they literally snitch on themselves. If you're in that kind of position, maybe don't go on a YouTube show. Maybe take a break. Maybe take a couple of weeks off. The feds, they don't even have, the feds got it so easy now. They don't even have to investigate. All they got to do is go on Facebook and YouTube, and the people are snitching on themselves. It's hilarious. At least some of these shows are paying for people to snitch on themselves. I will never pay anyone to snitch on themselves. You'll never see me paying a guest to snitch their shit out. Never. And I'm never taking money from the government for you to come snitch on my channel. I try to protect people. If I feel like something's dicey, I don't have you on. It's funny. There's a lot of snitch culture out there now.
Some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of the profits from the scheme.
You definitely do not get an appearance fee for snitching on yourself or other people on the show. That's not what we're about here. No appearance fee. And I'd rather have you not do that, especially on yourself. Don't snitch on yourself. There is no appearance fee. We don't even offer an appetizer. You don't even get what we got last night, which is a great buffet. Last night the food. That's the other thing I loved about the event last night is the food was phenomenal. This is like if you're gonna charge money, make sure you feed the people good food. Like we all went home stuffed with great food. The meatballs, oh my god, the chicken, oh, that was such a good spread, good dessert. You don't even get that. If you come on here and snitch on our show, you don't get the free buffet. You don't get anything. You get nothing. Yeah, the feds get tagged in the videos now. I know. I mean, the only time I'm do that is to like expose a fraudster. I'd love to bait a fraudster out. I try to get these guys that I thought were doing some stock fraud in the cannabis space. I was trying to bait them on my show, but they were smart enough not to do it. Like I kept tagging them and they're laughing. They're like I kind of like respect their hustle. They were funny. Like they had they almost look like JFK. They had their little uniforms and shit, like their track suits and shit. And I in the end I kind of grudgingly, even though I think they're scumbags, scammers, stock scammers, pump and dumpers, but at least they were smart enough not to like respond to me beyond like jokes. Like they kind of made fun. It was kind of funny. Like I was like, okay, some gangster hustlers still get it. They get it. And they weren't like all angry at me. They were just like, oh, this guy's kind of figuring out. Let's joke back at him. Just send him some jokes back and let's hope no one watches it. They didn't come on my show. They didn't self snitch. They were smart enough not to self snitch. Not all gangsters are dumb.
For example, they used off the shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back.
It's unbelievable the self snitching that goes on. You are so right. It's unbelievable. Unreal. If you can't tell the truth, why are you talking? You know what I mean? And if the truth's going to get you in trouble, why are you talking? Shut up.
To a co-conspirator at the table, and
Remember
that person
that
at
whole
the
thing?
table was known as the quarterback.
The whole thing of you have the right to remain silent. I like those lawyers. They have those lawyers on YouTube that are like, shut the F up. Just shut the F up. When the cops come, shut the F up. It's just like simple. The same thing with YouTube. If you're doing shit wrong, don't talk about it on YouTube.
The quarterback then signaled secretly the information he had received from to others at the table, and together they used that information in order to win their games and to cheat the victims. Defendants used other cheating technologies such as poker chip tray analyzers, which is a poker chip tray that secretly reads cards using a hidden camera, special contact lens.
That's the gamble with the police. Funny about that, Nanya. Some police will respect you for being truthful. It's true. Because so many times people just lie to them. Almost every time people lie to the cops, right? So sometimes when you're truthful, that's happened to me when I was younger, you know, with weed, actually. My buddy got pulled over. He was driving, and the cop's like, I smell weed. Where's the weed? I'm going to I got a call for something more important to me. Give me the weed and I'll let you go. It's right here. Cop let us go. He had another call, more important. Sometimes when you're truthful, the cops will let you go. Funny. But that's a gamble. Because, they will use it against you too. So it's funny. I always say show respect. That's what I always do. I treat cops with respect, because they're humans. They're doing a job. And people are mean to them. And if you give them attitude, they're giving it back. If you're nice to them, generally, they will be nice back to you. Not all of them. Some of them have attitudes, obviously. But most of them, most cops, they just give back what you give to them. That's like more than half cops. And that's why I mostly always get along with them because I am nice to them. And then they're like, oh, you're a nice guy. I'm nice back.
Or eyeglasses that could read pre-marked cards, and an X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table. What you see depicted on a screen right now is an example of the X-ray table that reveals the cards. Although they are face down on the table, they can be read because of the X-ray technology. The mafia, specifically members and associates of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese.
And they gave him up. The Bonanno, Javanese. I can't even say it. What are they doing? They're ruining. I mean, who the hell's going to go to their high end poker games now? Now that the feds have exposed them, that they're fixing their poker games. I almost can't believe this, that they would actually do this, because this is going to ruin their hustle. This is bad for their business. Like, beyond the legal stuff, I'm talking about word on the street. If you hear that your bookie or your poker game that you've been losing money at is rigged against you, you're not going back. This is wild. This is what I almost don't believe, but it seems truthful. We'll see. I mean, they've got this X-ray machine. Why else would they be using these machines? This is pretty wild.
Organized crime families had pre-existing control over non-rigged illegal poker games around New York City. As a result, they also became involved in the rigged poker games, helping to organize the games and taking a cut of the proceedings, and working to enforce the collection of debts. The defendants laundered their proceeds, including through cash exchanges, the use of multiple shell companies, and through cryptocurrency transfers. As part of the scheme, some of the defendants and their co-conspirators.
What's wild is this guy, the money guy, the guy who laundered their money with crypto. That's like what was that TV show with? It's like Ozark. Jason Bateman. It's like they have this Jason Bateman like character out there who's been the money man for all these mafia families. That's what's going to be interesting to see where that goes with this guy, because I think he's higher up on the totem pole and more important than some of these NBA players, right? To the scheme, the guy that launders all the money.
Conspirators also committed acts of violence, including the gunpoint robbery of a person in order to obtain a rigged shuffling machine, and extortions that were perpetrated against victims in order to ensure that they repaid their gambling debts. Defendants who participated in the rigged poker scheme are charged with wire fraud conspiracy. Other defendants have been charged with crimes including illegal gambling, money laundering, Hobbs Act robbery, and extortions. This case demonstrates our office's unrelenting commitment to fighting the scourge of organized crime in whatever form it takes. I'd like to conclude my remarks by thanking the incredible hard work of our law enforcement partners, including the FBI, Homeland Security, the NYPD, and the Waterfront Commission. I also want to thank the dedicated prosecutors who built these two cases and who are standing to my right. Benjamin Weintraub, David Bourbon, Caitlin Farrell, Michael Gibaldi, Irisa Chen, and Sean Sherman. They had the assistance of paralegal specialists Liam McNett, John Schneider, Marlene Bosler. Also deserving of our thanks because of their outstanding investigative work on the NBA case are FBI Special Agents Russell Lantier, Dominic Mariani, Amy Giaroso, Shane Wilkins, and Supervisory Special Agent Luke Hardison. On the rigged poker game scheme, outstanding work was performed by FBI Special Agents Thomas Cribbin, Jeff Boriola, Jonathan Corona, Alexander Silverman, Amy Campanaro, and Supervisory Special Agent Michael.
You make a great comment about, I think why they want the NBA so much. Number one, I think their players get paid more because there's less players, there's less star players on a team, right? So they get more money per player probably. And those basketball players tend, I think, to gamble more. I really think so. But this comment is great. It said they chose basketball games nobody hardly pays attention to. Two losing teams get to start on the bench. Fouls are subjective. Yeah, that's the thing about basketball. I feel like it's the easiest game to fix because number one, like you said, fouls are subjective. Number two, a star being out has a much bigger impact. There's only five players on the court, right? Compared to football. Look at how many players are on the field in football and baseball. Even hockey has more than five players. You know what I mean? So, and hockey has much more change ups. You know, you have three, four lines. Basketball, the starters play a lot. You know, so having them out in these prop bets, it's like nobody's really betting on these. You know, as much. But I also think it's kind of riskier for them because if no one's betting on it, it's easier to see when there's an irregularity. You know, so but I think that's why they choose basketball a lot because, like boxing's the easiest sport to fix too because you only need to get one person, right? So I think basketball and boxing, those types of sports are generally the ones that are most at risk. You know, got to be very careful. Easier to fix those games than say like a football game. I think they should get rid of prop betting. I think they should only do, on the games. They shouldn't do these all these prop because that's where you're going to have much more of this stuff going on. Where a player sits out and he doesn't go over his under, you know what I mean?
Malahi, as well as NYPD Task Officer James McCullough, and from Homeland Security,
Quickly.
Supervisory Special Agent Charles Freund, and from the War
That's exactly it. If you're doing a prop bet on a player and they get sick that night, wink wink and sit out, you can control that bet easily. You know that it's going to be under, the points that on the prop bet. So that's why I think they should get rid of prop bets. The prop bets are, and not a lot of people bet on them. So it's easier to kind of probably go under the radar with it a little bit. Crazy, wild. I think this goes on a lot more than people think, especially now with the prevalence of betting and gambling.
Front Commission Detective Paul Shimborski. Finally, I want to note that the investigations in both cases are ongoing, and we encourage anyone with information about either scheme to please contact the FBI. Now I would like to turn the podium over to Special Agent in charge of the New York Field Office, I should say the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office of the FBI, Christopher Rea. Chris?
I wouldn't trust any online slot machines either, especially if they're mafia connected, apparently. Allegedly. I mean, we'll see. Maybe the feds are lying. Who knows? The feds have lied before. But geez, how can you trust it? If these allegations are true, I wouldn't trust shit. Unbelievable.
All right, thank you, Joe. As always, we appreciate the partnership here. Can't do any of this without you and your team, so thank you. Also want to publicly thank the director for coming down from D.C. The director's a very busy person, and for him to come down should tell you the importance of this historic case. I'm Christopher Rea, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI New York Field Office. Today, as you've heard, our office conducted a massive nationwide takedown from 2 indictments of 34 defendants for their alleged involvement in 2 separate illegal poker and sports betting schemes where, as you heard, the odds were rigged in their favor. Among these defendants are 13 members and associates of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families, to include capos and soldiers from these families. Additionally, as you heard, current and former NBA coaches.
That's a good comment. Yeah, someone said I had no idea there were online slot machines. There's online casinos, basically, that are offshore, often illegal, sometimes often a mafia run. And I'm not always saying it's the Italian mafia. Sometimes it's like the Bulgarian mafia. That happens a lot, actually. So I wouldn't trust any of those online illegal casinos. I would not trust any of them, especially now, looking at what we're seeing.
And players are also implicated, to include Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and, and Terry Rozier. 3 of the named defendants are charged for their alleged roles in both schemes. This alleged illegal gambling operation hustled unwitting victims out of tens of millions of dollars and created a financial pipeline for La Cosa Nostra to help fund and facilitate their organized criminal activity. Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines, fixing the odds in their favor, as alleged and as you just heard from the U.S. Attorney's Office. This alleged scheme wreaked havoc across the nation, exploiting the notoriety of some and the wallets of many to fund the Italian crime families here in New York. Let me be clear about this fact. The FBI has not and will never take their eye off the ball when it comes to Italian organized crime in this city, specifically the LCN and the 5 families here in New York.
I didn't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that verbiage. And I'm not Italian, but I have a lot of Italian friends. My best friend Michael Malta was Italian. His family was actually his uncle was a big time mafia guy. But Michael wasn't, and he got stereotyped a lot because of, a lot of people do. It's just like, why do you have to say the Italian mafia? Like that's the only mafia around? There's no Irish mafia, there's no Jewish mafia, there's no Bulgarian mafia, there's no Russian mafia. Come on, there's no Romanian mafia. There's like a lot of mafias out there. I don't like that language. You can call it a Cosa Nostra, you can call it the 5 families. Why do you have to say Italian? A lot of Italian people that don't need to put up with that shit. The whole Godfather thing that was enough. And I get touchy about that because I feel like in Boston, that stereotyping hurt our city because the Italian mafia, a lot of us knew, were actually kinder, gentler, more mature than the mafia, the Irish my upbringing. The Irish mafia was wilder. They did more violence, and the FBI stereotyped and went after the Italian mafia. And a lot of those FBI agents were Irish Americans, and they let the Irish mafia do what they want, and they made them witnesses, and they made them more powerful, more dangerous. So I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like calling it the Irish mafia or the Italian mafia. Call it for what it is. Don't stereotype entire groups of people because it's harmful. And then law enforcement does stupid stuff like they just focus on one group of people. Imagine calling it the Hispanic mafia. That's gross. You know, I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think that it's harmful because law enforcement starts zeroing in on just one group of people, and then other mafias get out of control. That's what happened in Boston. They focused on the Italian mafia, which was the more mature, more classy mafia, and the Irish were out of control. They were the ones killing women and children. I didn't see many Italian mafia killing women and children. So what kind of punk ass shit is this? JTC 80. You gotta come up here. You better come correct. You're a punk. You are a punk. You're not using your name. You are a friggin' rat. You're a rat. That's what you are. Like this kind of comment, you can't even spell "yar" right. I mean, that's how much of a moron you are. There's an E on that, bro. On that "yar." Maybe you should go to school. You can learn to speak and write and do all that first before you try to get to the complicated stuff, dude. Like using your name in public. Coward. I love the cowards. Yeah, moron. Exactly. You know, the Italian mafia, because they were more mature. They've been around longer. You can use the names. You can call them the five families. You can call them by their the Bonanno. You can call them that. You don't have to call them Italian. That's all my point. All right. Yeah, I do. I don't mind calling people on their shit, especially when they're little cowards. The little cowards that come in. They don't use their names. Yeah, they don't know how to spell. They don't know how to use grammar, and they're probably self snitching on themselves everywhere they go. All right, let's get back to this because I do want to check out the spaces tonight too. Some space
We are
action
not
going on.
going to permit any criminal enterprise, whether it be Italian organized crime, Asian organized crime, Eurasian organized crime. We're not going to permit any of those organized crimes, families, and organizations to operate in our city or our country, as evidenced by the 11 states that were also participating in this operation today. The FBI office here in New York remains committed to eradicating all unlawful revenue streams fueling this criminal activity. As with most cases we've worked, this is only the tip of the iceberg for the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Our LCN squad agents and analysts are continuing to work day and night with the Eastern District of New York to ensure members and associates of the five families cannot continue to wreak havoc in our communities. Today would not have been possible without the tireless efforts and dedication of the FBI New York Eurasian Organized Crime Task Force, which, as you heard, was led by Supervisory Special Agent Luke Hardison, and the Italian Organized Task Force, which was led by Supervisory Special Agent Mike Malahi. And coincidentally, Supervisory Special Agent Malahi is going out on a positive as he is retiring at the end of this month for 30 years of dedicated service to the FBI, and that deserves a hand. He's what we call a legend here at FBI New York. Additionally, obviously, we cannot do this alone without our partners. I want to extend my appreciation to Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent in Charge, Ricky Patel. Of course, we do nothing in this city without the NYPD. New York City Police Department Commissioner Jesse Tisch, thank you, ma'am, for all your work and all your resources that you dedicated to this. And New York Waterfront Commissioner Phoebe Soriel for their agency's assistance and support throughout this lengthy and complex investigation. Our collective efforts ensured these subjects will face accountability, like the director said, for their alleged wrongdoings. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Special Agent in charge of HSI, Ricky Patel.
Thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricky Patel. I'm the Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations here in New York. This morning, hundreds of special agents and investigators with HSI, the FBI, the New York Waterfront Commission, and the NYPD descended upon the homes of individuals who for years have operated with the false sense of impunity, a false sense of incivility. In the early hours of today, across 9 states, coast to coast, dozens of defendants were arrested and will face the consequences of their alleged crimes. This was their wake-up call. With the
I'm going to stop this for a minute. I want to check out this space. I'm going to bring up the space for a second here. We're gonna check something else out. We'll go back to that maybe a little bit later. I want to check out this space right now.
Just kind of talk about what has happened
You guys hear this?
over
Let
the
me know if you can
last
hear it.
month and a half, and address like the timeline and put things contextually for people so that they can understand where things started, where they are, where they're going, and to kind of stop all the, attacks or the guessing or the, you know, assumptions of what has happened or what will happen, and just provide the opportunity for people to talk most specifically Meredith. So with that being said, Meredith, if you want to jump on and, kind of, I guess, start and say what you want to say, then we'll go from there.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so thank you, Larry. I really appreciate it. So honestly, I really never wanted to talk about any of this. Like, I'm not a YouTuber and I'm not a content creator. I don't have a channel. I'm literally just a CPA and a mom first, but I don't have like a platform or any of this. That's why I don't have a channel to do a video stream about this. So I really appreciate you being able to help me with this. So, and I apologize if I have any technical difficulties. I may have to hop off for a second. I'm just waiting for my daughter to get home from Newbury Street and her phone died. And I'm not sure if she brought keys with her. So I may have to suddenly step off for a second. But hopefully not. So yeah, I never wanted to talk about this, but I figured just at this point, there's just been so many things said, my private text messages being shared. I figured it was a good time to finally clear some things up. I'm not going to talk about everything. There are things that are just private because there are things about a private relationship that people somehow, some reason think they deserve and they're entitled to know, which is kind of just, I'm mind blown at some of the questions people are asking about the details of a private relationship that they think they're entitled to know. But I don't want to hurt anyone in discussing some of these topics. So there are certain details I'll have to withhold. But I never wanted to talk about any alleged recordings publicly. I never wanted to hear a recording. I never wanted to speak publicly about any alleged recordings. And I don't plan on it beyond what others have already said on the internet at this point. So a lot of people, they take silence as being sketchy or suspicious, but a lot of times people are staying silent because just especially if you have a certain amount of followers, talking about it brings more attention to it. When it's not good for it to be brought to attention, it can make it worse. And it's sometimes people are silent to protect others involved. So there's a lot more details I could give here that would be considered receipts and quote unquote clear my name. But at this point, I'm not going to get into those details because it's really in no one's best interest to talk about alleged recordings beyond that. So I'll leave it at that. But, and besides, most of the people making these accusations about me aren't showing any receipts either at the end of the day. So I guess I'll start with some facts I can say because they're already out there on the internet at this point. So this point, there was an alleged phone call on August 29th, and the next day there were already allegations that a call was recorded and allegations that Karen or her lawyers were sent a copy of it, and there were claims that other people heard it. I'm going to really do my best not to talk about much of that because it's just not the right time to put out all the details. But I want to make it clear, I wasn't talking to Aiden at the time of the phone call. I didn't find out about all of it until later on. The call happened when I wasn't with Aiden. To be abundantly clear, I wasn't present. I've seen some rumors out there that I was sitting there and secretly recording him and her on speakerphone. I just want to nip that right in the bud now. I was not with him during the call. We hadn't spoken in over a month at the time of the call. Other people, yeah,
Meredith, just so I can, so to clarify, there was a phone call that happened in August. You guys
right.
have been broken up since mid-July, which obviously you didn't publicize. There were rumors or, people were making comments or alleging things, whatever. But at that point in time, you guys weren't together, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Since the middle of July. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So we hadn't spoken in over a month at the time of the call. And by the time I heard about any of it, there were already accusations going around about an alleged recording. I'm going to try and just do my best to focus on what happened, I guess, after the allegations about the recording started being public and try and stick to how it's related to me and not so much Aiden and not talk about his involvement in this. But so I guess flash forward to September 15th. So you may recall the first space, right after the first spaces with all of this, Joe posted a text from Karen where she alleges she was recorded. I would never share any of my conversations with Karen, and I don't like to talk about her conversations, but at this point, Joe has posted this on the internet, and the date there is important because it's September 15th. That's confirmed. She texted him on September 15th. People were talking about the recordings in the background then in September, but I had no conversation with anyone about it until I eventually spoke with Joe on September 25th, 10 days later. So
So,
that's some back.
I
Yeah.
know it's very fast for you because you understand it and you were like real time, like how things were affecting you. But like there was the alleged phone call. There's the receipts that have been dropped, the texts that have been shared, and then when it comes to you and you talking about it, like period, publicly or privately, it never would have been shared if Flip didn't share the DMs, which those DMs occurred on September 25th, right? Like
Correct.
so
Yeah.
so for
Sorry.
that time
Yeah.
so for that timeline, for everybody to understand the timeline and how, like, the reason that you're holding this space is that there's accusations that you you know hacked Aiden, that you did, um who knows what the DS5 DSM-5 book says that you're being alleged to have done, but you had no access. You weren't talking to him. You weren't party to, you know, phone calls, allegations, whatever it was, until September 25th. You were reached out to, and that's when the interactions between you and Flip, which have now become public, which are now what everyone is talking about and what people are using to either accuse you of being like a nefarious character or a crazed ex-girlfriend. It starts then at 25 September, right?
Correct. Yeah. And that's something I'll get into the other parts of it a little later when we talk about Jess and her stream. But yeah, that's exactly it. I wasn't around then. I didn't have access to anything by then. We'd broken up in the middle of July. And Joe, the point of the dates is that there's this narrative that I went to Joe and I was like working with him to take him down, like, and I've even seen people saying that I was like his source, quote unquote, but that's not true because he was already talking to Karen on September 15th, and I can say that because he put out her text message. I would never share her text messages, but that was a decision made to do, whatever. So it's a fact I can confirm, and I didn't speak to him again until September 25th. And when I say that though, it wasn't like that was the first time we ever spoke. I looked back at our messages. I'd been friends with him for over a year. We weren't super close friends, but we spoke regularly. We were in group chats together. So this narrative that I went to him simply wasn't true. I mean, I had a busy summer, so I hadn't talked to him since I think maybe the beginning of August. But he reached out to me on September 25th. It was around the time I posted about the Marinil account being revealed. He reached out about that. Nothing to do with Karen, nothing to do with any alleged recordings. He reached out under the guise of being concerned for me about the Marinil account and everything. We got caught up on stuff. And another thing I just want to add, so a lot of people have asked me like, oh, didn't you know like he was doing this and that and Olivia and stuff? And the fact is, no, I didn't know. Aiden and I broke up around, I think, the 15th of July. I wasn't talking to him frequently at all. We weren't talking. There's over a month where I didn't say a word to him. And I learned that he was joining her legal team the same time everybody else did. I didn't hear, I heard some rumblings about some drama with Joe, but honestly, I had enough of my own stuff going on that summer. It wasn't my business to know more. Like another example of a private relationship being brought to the internet. So I didn't know anything about it. So I know, like some people have asked, well, didn't you know he was crazy and couldn't be trusted? No, I didn't know. It wasn't my business. And until about a month ago, everybody loved him. Everybody trusted him. Nobody would have expected he would go rogue and share your private conversations on the internet. So
So again, like, I want to keep making sure that we like frame the timeline for everything. So September 25th is when Joe reached out to you, and that was right on the heels of you basically breaking news about Mayor Neal and the people involved, or at least Tina Murray, right?
exactly,
And
yeah.
how impactful that was on you for the last year, right? And when he reached out to you, it was not like you were two like best friends that reconnected. It was that you were two people that were just talking. And he said, "Hey, that really sucks. Yeah, I can't believe you were going through that." And then somehow it led into, and we're gonna try to avoid like the Olivia and Flip situation, because I don't think this is the right time or place, because this is about your timeline and your kind of like your truths and your facts and your timeline. but it was two people like they were commiserating, right? Like you didn't think that he was anything other than who he portrayed himself to be, and you were just talking to him like you thought he was a friend, like he had a normal person that also had access to Karen Reed. If someone has access to Karen Reed, like obviously they probably are a good person or they've been vetted or whatever the mental thought process is. And that's
Yeah,
all it was, right? It was
yeah,
two people like commiserating and saying, "Hey, I've got this issue. Hey, I've got this issue," and you're talking, right?
exactly. And he was the one who brought up the issue to me first, but I knew he knew about it because those September 15th texts, he shared them with Aiden earlier in the week. And Aiden and I were not talking regularly at all, but he did tell me, oh, Joe Flipper just showed me these texts from Karen. So I knew about them. I wasn't like, I knew he had an idea about the situation already, and I wasn't trying to like give him any information he didn't already have. And so the biggest thing is I had no idea he was going to do that space with the koala guy. In fact, he said he'd never spoken to the koala guy. He asked me if I knew who he was, and I just said no. If I had any clue what he was planning, I never would have spoken with him at all. Like the night I all of a sudden I hear my name mentioned on his face, and I immediately reached out to him like, "Are you talking to this koala guy?" I heard my name mentioned, and then I hear him get on the space, and it was I was totally blindsided. I thought I was venting to a friend, and yeah, I shouldn't have trusted him. That was dumb, and I've since now I basically don't trust anybody, and it sucks,
Well,
but it's
I think like the key thing, uh, and despite all the negative comments, I guess, is that there's like a lot of betrayal, right? And like people trusting people, they think that they're true or honest or whatever, and there's a lot of betrayal, and it depends on what side like you're on and what the perspective is and where you think like the betrayal's cool or not cool or fair or not fair. But um you were talking to somebody, you were venting to somebody, and whether there were intentional, nefarious intentions or not, it all spilled out and it became public on the timeline. And now all of a sudden, there's like it's spun out of control to a lot of people, whether they're content creators, whether they're public figures, whether they're semi public figures, whether they're chat rats, whether they're just people on X, like attacking each other personally, one way or the other. And it all has spun from that particular issue of the betrayal. And so you trusting somebody isn't the worst part of it. It's the betrayal that kind of sucks. And also understanding like from Flipperhead's perspective, like he felt like he was justified in betraying you. I'm not saying it's fair, I'm not saying it's right, but that's the perspective. And that's again, when it comes to being human, there's so many different perspectives and opinions that you have to look at. And it's not just a screenshot, it's not just a tweet, it's not just a, you know, 20-minute stream, it's not a 5-hour stream. It doesn't matter what it is. Like there's so much more involved in being a human person. And being human means you're not perfect. And if you're imperfect, you make the wrong trust choices sometimes, which is readily apparent on Spaces and on Twitter.
yeah, and I don't know, it really sucks. It's like similar to how Christie's been sharing everybody's texts. Like people said things that they never expected to be displayed on the internet one day. And yeah, I guess people made bad decisions in trusting people. But there's a difference between making public accusations to thousands of people on a Twitter post or on a YouTube show if you have a channel versus having a private text with somebody. And I never expected them to be published. I was venting to a friend, and it's hard because it's tempting then to go and share like their conversations back and forth, because and I've said this, like there's so many worse things that he said or whoever said that I could share, but then it becomes just a tit for tat, and I don't have time to be on Twitter all day with work and stuff. And then it's like, then are you just going to make it worse, and are you going to draw more attention to it, and then it just never ends. It's like, when does it end? So I'm just, I don't know, I'm torn sometimes about just posting it all or just ignoring it. It's hard. especially when some of the things that you could be posting would like implicate other people too and get other people in trouble that you don't want to hurt. So, yeah, I mean,
No,
sorry, go
I,
ahead.
I think what you're saying is fair, and I think what you're saying is honest, and I think what you're saying is true. And it's not easy to take the high road, and it's not easy to sometimes be the shield, even if you don't want to be the shield.
I think I want to chime in here for a minute too, because one of the things that we see is that I don't think anyone in listening to this space or on Twitter or beyond isn't honest. Or should I say, can honestly say that they haven't, like, whenever one of these things pops up, or there's a new scandal, or there's something that comes out, like, I think people generally do, like, reach out to their friends or the people that they're talking with and, like, oh my God, like, who do you think that they're talking about? Or, like, what was said there? I think it's kind of human nature to be into that mode. So, like, to say that, like, I don't think anyone here can honestly say they haven't had a private conversation with somebody speculating about things along the way. I certainly can't.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to summarize it, Joe, like this narrative that I was like working with him or plotting with him is just false. Like he and Karen were texting on September 15th. I didn't even talk to him at all until September 25th about the Marinil account. And honestly, we didn't even talk about anything else until the 26th. So a full 11 days after he was already like planning the space with Chris to do whatever they were going to do was when we finally discussed anything. Like he didn't need anything from me. And this is why I don't even get what was the point of sharing my text. By the time they posted my text, they had already posted Karen's text talking about the recording, and they'd already posted they'd posted an audio of a recording. So why did they, like, I don't understand what was the point other than to just make it look like I was like plotting with us to post my text. I don't know. I still don't understand to this day. And to the other thing, I guess, that happened that I think is worth bringing up is how other people got brought into this. So Joe, the day that after the alleged recording was released, there was the whole thing with Jess getting an anonymous email of a recording with Olivia. And Joe came to me with this theory that he said it had to be Nurse Kim. She shared the recording of me and Olivia, and she definitely had to share the other recordings. And I spent about a half an hour with him on the phone, like trying to talk him down. He was obviously upset because he had just heard, and I get it. He had just gotten the news that like Jess had the recording of him and Olivia. I get it. But I was trying to talk him down, but he was insisting because they were both Proton emails. And I asked him calmly, I was like, well, were they the same Proton emails? Can you show me? And he said, well, no, Proton's weird. It has to be the same person. Who uses Proton? I'm like, no, it's like a Gmail. You can make different accounts. And he said, no, I pointed out to them, they're the same. I also encouraged him to think about this too, because I've done this before. Like, are you sure you really only shared it with her? Because I didn't even think you were that close with her. Why would you only share it with her? That doesn't make any sense. And I told him, I was like, I've done this before many times where I've been so sure I only shared something with 2 or 3 people, but it's actually closer to 5 or 6. And it's a lot more than you originally think. And I I tried to tell him that, but then he went and made a public accusation of her, and I had nothing to do with that. I think Larry, you had a similar experience with him and tried to talk him out of this thing too.
Yeah, I have had conversations with Flip. I haven't gotten too detailed because one of the things that I've expressed to him, I've expressed to you, I've expressed to other people's, I don't really care about personal relationships. Like there's so many factors that like play into how somebody would react to a certain situation. I I don't know. I'm not going to judge anybody for their reaction, but in this particular circumstance, when there was the allegation that it was Nurse Kim because of Proton email, I was like, look, I don't want to be derogatory. I really like Nurse Kim. Like she's like I really enjoy like talking to her. There's no fucking way she knows what a proton mail is. And if she does, I'm fucking I don't know anything and I should retire like completely from my entire profession because there's no way she knows what a proton mail is. Sure enough, like I talked to her And she was like, I don't know what a Jimmy Neutron male is. And that's why, like, I kind of stole the phrase. So you can, like, go back and look at the shit that I said previously, because that was where I got it from. Like, there was no way that she knew what proton mail was. She doesn't know the difference between Wi-Fi and Ethernet. And that's not a knock on her. It doesn't mean that she's not intelligent. She's highly intelligent. I would let her do surgery on me. I just wouldn't let her set up my stream. Like, that's the difference. And that's like the entire point that I was like trying to make to him. And we really didn't get anywhere with that conversation. He went off and did whatever. But again, that's the point, right? Is like, do you know who you send things to? Do you understand where you're sending things to? If you're going to make these accusations and go public, like, you need to make sure that you know what you're doing. If you're saying it in DMs or theories, that's so different. It's so like, nobody's like putting their hand on a Bible in a DM and saying, I swear on this and I'm going to testify to this. Like, no, you're just talking to a friend.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So anyways, I don't know, is this a good time to talk about the next part with Jess? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. I think at this point, again, when it comes to spaces, like people that are just joining in or haven't been listening the whole time, like the previous, you know, um, 30 minutes has been about certain allegations and timelines. And, I think Meredith has addressed those situations and whatever those allegations are. So at this point, like, now you want to clear your name and point out like what the fallacies are and what the accusations are
Yeah.
like against you.
So again, as you said at the beginning, like this isn't a hate on Jess or hate on Joe's stream. This is to try to just say what I can that I'm allowed to say at this point and try and just like the point of this is to just move on and just stop. And it just too many things have been said that I can't just say nothing at this point because then it's just not. But I never had a problem with Jess before any of this. I looked back at my conversations with her when she first mentioned me a few weeks ago to see if I was ever rude, if there was something I did to her, and no, I looked back the extent of our conversations where I for one I think the first time was I texted her to just say to thank her how nice I thought it was that she gave up her seat for Aiden back during the trial. The other time we spoke right after the trial, Aiden was really down that he wasn't getting like juror interviews, and so I was trying to help. I was trying to find some of the jurors. I had been in the court a lot of days during trial, so I knew I would recognize faces and I would be able to. And Jess, after she published her interview with Paula, she shared her contact info with Aiden to see if so he could interview her. Obviously, he did end up getting one with her after she'd interviewed with other news station, but nonetheless, I thought it was really nice that Jess gave him the contact interview. So I when I found a couple different jurors on LinkedIn and stuff, I shared them with her. And that was pretty much the extent of our conversation. She brought me up on her stream about talking about Tina and the Mayor Neal a little bit. She said she thought I was always cold to her at court and didn't think I was friendly. So I reached out to her. I was like, I just want you to know, like, it wasn't anything personal. I'm sorry if I came off that way. A lot of times when I would go into court, I'd already been outside for an hour or so, like talking to people, taking pictures. And sometimes, some days my brain would just be fried. And some days, honestly, which happened a lot this winter, multiple times where they were trying to revoke Aiden's bail, I was pretty much in like a state of panic and not really in a good spot to be friendly with anyone. So I wanted her to know it wasn't personal because it really wasn't at the time. I thought she was a good friend to Aiden at the time, and I that was pretty much the extent of our conversations. There was no ill will at all. And right now, just some of the things she's been saying to me, it feels like she's baiting me to talk about my relationship with Aiden, about alleged recordings. And I'm going to just do my best not to talk about that too much, even though some of the attacks by her were pretty personal. So I guess it started a few weeks ago. I think we were into week 2 of this alleged recording drama. Jess went on his face on October 3rd and started accusing me of sharing it. She made other claims about who heard it, that Nurse Kim heard it, that Will heard it, and that they're lying about hearing it. So she did that space on October 3rd and then doubled down on all of it the next day on her regular show on October 4th. Talking about me again, saying like, boo, Meredith, all these things again, where I was just left super confused. What did I ever do to her to any of this? Like, I don't know. I think I'm not the only one who's sometimes confused about what they did to deserve it, but I'm not going to go into that because this isn't like a stream about her. Like, the goal is to move on.
Well,
But
like real quick, like to put it in context, there were things that sorry, there were things that you said privately, and that's where you left it, right? And then now there have been things said publicly about you, and that's explicitly what you're addressing, right?
yes, yes, but I hadn't said anything at all about her, like, privately before she was going on, like, before she did these things on October 3rd and 4th. So, like, it wasn't, now, yes, she's saying it's because of a text of mine, again, that got shared by Joe to her, but before that, there wasn't anything. Like, she's already doing this unprovoked. And she did all this, she knew why other people were being silent about it. Like, she she knew they were doing it to protect somebody, and she still did this and brought it up. So yeah, and at that point nobody was talking about her hearing it, nobody was accusing her of doing anything or sharing it. And she was asked why she'd do that, and she said it was because she didn't want to be accused, but nobody was accusing her at that point. So I was just wondering why would she, even said in her face that nobody was asking her about it. She said nobody's asked me about the recording. So the fact that she did that, it made me wonder why she lied. Why'd she throw me under the bus? It seemed like she really wanted to be involved in this. She had shared the audio of Joe Flipperhead earlier in the week. I don't know if that's why she wanted to be involved. I really don't know. She wasn't being talked about in any of this, but so yeah, after being brought up publicly by her twice to thousands of people on her channel, I naturally started to wonder myself why she was accusing me and who really released them. I knew she was allegedly one of the first people to hear an alleged recording, but so yeah, I did think at one point she could have shared one, but I expressed this to somebody privately in a text message. And again, there's a big difference between saying it privately and publicly. I had my reasons. The way she was inserting herself, I felt publicly accusing others. And then there was the message that, and I'm only bringing this up because she brought up on her show. Yes, my text message talked about a message that was shared with only her. I remember the morning very well. I woke up to somebody sending me a tweet, and they were like, "Oh my God, another one of Aiden's messages are out. How are these things getting out?" And I jumped out of it. I had the biggest anxiety. I actually was crying. I was like, "Please, dear God, make it something he didn't send to me, so I don't get accused for this again." Because, and I was thank God he hadn't sent it to me. And I guess he thought he only sent it to her. I don't know if that's true. I can't confirm if he only sent it to her, but that's what I was told. So that was what was said. And again, in a private text message to somebody, not on a YouTube show, not on a space to thousands of people like she had already done about me. I was talking to somebody because I was trying to figure out why she was publicly accusing me. So there's a difference.
I think it's important to like underline, bold, put it in italics that that when things happen privately, like people shouldn't speculate on it. And when it gets brought to like attention, I think and we talked about this earlier, right? Is like Jess trying to get in front of like the text that was leaked and saying, hey, like this was brought to my attention. This was not me. I think is fair for her to do. I think it's fair for her to say, hey, like this person's saying this thing about me. There's a text message. It's out on social media. This is not me. I had no part in this. I think that that's fair. It's when it starts to devolve into the rest of the things that have occurred.
Are you talking about when she brought it up, like the day it happened, or recently when she saw me talking about it in my text that was shared?
I would say recently, right?
Okay,
Recently, when
okay.
like it's brought
Yeah,
up, and she
of course it's fair. So she brought it up the day it happened too on her show, and she's like, Aiden's accusing me of sharing it with Kate Peter, and I don't even think that's what he did. I think he just said, "Hey, it's out there," and I only shared it with you, and that was it. It wasn't nobody. I never thought she sent it to he. I don't think that's what I said at all. I think it got. I truly I don't think she talks to Kate Peter, despite some, like, again, with all the crazy accusations I'm seeing on against me, but against her too. That, oh, she had Kate Peter on her show, so she must be behind this. Like, no, she had it on her show to get to clicks and views, and that's fair if you're a new content creator, I guess. Like, whatever. That's why she did it. So I'm not gonna like join in on things like against her that just aren't true like that. And I never thought she sent it directly to Kate. Like, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't be. She wouldn't do that. So I think how things if she I still don't even know because I don't know who else he sent it to, but I think what happens sometimes is somebody sends it to somebody and then it gets it to some. That's how this whole mess has started to begin with, and then people don't remember who they've sent things to, and that's
Yeah,
just how it
yeah,
happens. But
no, 100%. I agree. I think that like when there are even allegations like in a text message that finally get released to the public, whomever is being, you know, quote unquote defamed or whatever the appropriate term is, I think they should have a right to be able to say, hey, this isn't me. This is not, I wouldn't do this. I didn't say this, etc. And I think that that part was fine. I think the doubling down and then going into the like opinionated personal like thought processes and expanding upon what her own personal feelings were was not fair, I guess is the best way to put it, because you didn't make it public. You weren't the one that was making your emotions public. However, people want to quantify what those definitive statements mean, or if it's definitive or if it's not definitive. And this is why you're now doing the space to clear the air. And it's not like an attack. It's not, hey, you're wrong for saying this. You're wrong for feeling this. It's, hey, these are the facts. This is what I experienced. This is what I know. This is how I experienced it. And that's it.
yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. So, and by the way, so Jess messaged me on Sunday night this week, and it was just a screenshot of the messages that Joe had sent to her where I'm accusing her. So, and I apologized to her. Similar to what I've explained here. Like I told her, I was hurt by some of the things she said about me on her show. Like again, I didn't think they were deserved based on our previous experience. I don't tend to treat people like trying to treat them how they treat me, and that's why I looked like how if I had ever done anything to her that would like warrant this, her saying something like Meredith boo, like when she was doing her whole like baseline of where people fall or whatever. Like I'd done nothing but be nice to her, like shared your information with her. Like I just didn't get it, so I told her, I said I'm sorry, but like I didn't know where this was coming from. I don't know why you would talk about me on your show like that. So yeah, I did privately vent to someone about you, and I'm sorry. I apologized to her twice on Monday. This is Monday. I didn't get a response, and that's fine. She continued on and did her show Wednesday, but she's since tweeted that she never got an apology from me. So that's just simply not true. I did apologize to her when she sent me the screenshots privately. I never heard back. We could have talked about it, but that's fine. And I'm not going to share the screenshots unless she wants to continue to deny me apologizing to her. I'm trying. I'm not going to try and share like retaliatory screenshots of anybody, as tempting as it's been done to me. Two wrongs don't make a right, and it's just gonna bring attention to it to people. Honestly, a lot of people have messaged me and who aren't on Twitter, and or maybe like they're not following some of these other accounts talking about this stuff and they have no idea about it's going on. So until I start engaging with it, similar to something with Christy last week, somebody reached out to me and messaged me about what was going on because I had responded to something that Christy had said, and I had to explain to them, but they had no idea about what was any of it going on. Like they're just totally oblivious to anything with what Christy was posting, what Koala was anybody. They didn't know about any of it. So I try to be really like selective about even responding to it and especially posting screenshots. So, um,
Well, I think that it's fair, right? And I think that it's not easy to take the high road, I guess sometimes, and also like understanding that maybe not throwing like shade, not saying that like other people took the low road or anything like that. I'm just saying like there's a human element to everything. And there's a human element to understanding how relationships work, how social relationships work, how people interact with each other. And you can't glean like an entire relationship based off of a screenshot. You can't get an entire understanding of how people interact or how they'll interact based off of a screenshot. Like there's so much more to it. Like there's so much more to humanity. And in like to to not to stutter, but to like bring it back for people to understand like there's so much more that is going on in people's lives and other than what you see in a single tweet or response or a screenshot, that it doesn't give you like the entire picture of a perspective or the relationship. And when you're talking about something that has spawned from, a relationship between uh Karen and Aiden to you and Aiden to you and Flip to Flip and Olivia to uh Chris and Flip to Olivia and whomever her friends are to you and whoever your friends are. Like all those things, there are interpersonal relationships, there are personal feelings that are involved. Like it's not status quo, and you can't just, there's no black and white, there's a lot of gray. And so like to understand that there's a particular empathy that people should have and how things happen and how they react to certain things, and also understanding that maybe there's a level of patience, and never mind that there's like legal repercussions as to why people can say things and why they can't say things. Like there's so much more involved than just, hey, I'm on X, I follow you, I want to know what the answer is, give me the answer.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, just the audacity of all these people who think they deserve to know like the private details of everybody's lives, all these different relationships, even between Aiden and Karen. I mean, he has a right not to talk about it for legal reasons, and she has a right to privately be mad about it too. And everybody, it's just the people like talking about it on YouTube shows and on Twitter and back and forth and thinking the sense of entitlement to know these details about things that don't involve them. It's just I don't know. I don't I'm shocked that it's been a month now. I think yeah, today's the 25th. It's been just about a month and this is still going on like this, like a daily source of anxiety. I don't know.
yeah, Meredith, I think that's a good point, and I think that to what Larry was saying, you have all of these interpersonal relationships, and you have, but the best thing that I can see is just in all of the things that he mentioned. What you have is you have a bunch of people who are in these situations that end up by being stressful, whether they're right or wrong. Like how people react when they're in the middle of being accused by something. We could look at Jess, and Jess did her show based on the fact that she's saying, Meredith accused me of this. And I agree with your points about public versus private and things like that. But to Jess's credit, the messages did become public and she had a right to respond to them, but she didn't just respond to them, right? She responded to them and then immediately did the same thing that she was complaining about and accused you of being the one to leak the messages. And I get it. We've been in this whole situation where people get it. I've been. I mean, look at the last couple of months. We know that I've been attacked, and Larry's been attacked, and Obach has been attacked, and people react in strange ways. And so I'll give everybody a little grace in that area there. But the truth is that a lot of this stuff is none of anybody's business, and that's where I was starting from the beginning. So, like, we have this whole scenario where there is good reason for people not to talk about it. A, because what we're not seeing is we're not seeing any real evidence of anything that's actually happened, right? We're seeing a whole bunch of allegations and things like that. And people have the right to not want to get involved in that or talk about it or speak out of school, because what we don't have is we don't have this, oh, yep, this definitely happened. And yep, here's the chain of custody. And here's all of this stuff along the way. And so I agree with people not wanting to talk about this. I don't think that they should. So when we end up in this situation, it's just weird because everyone is going to react based on things that people are trying really hard not to talk about. I think that that's kind of where we need to go back to with this, in the sense that, like, I agree. Nobody should be accusing you, and nobody should be accusing Jess, and nobody should be accusing anybody else, because the bottom line is it's just not there. The evidence isn't there to say anything other than speculation, and people really just need to take a breath, take a step back, and stop talking about this unless and until more information comes out or something is done about it. To me, this is a situation that is private, and if Aiden wants to speak on it at some point, he can, and if Karen wants to speak on it at some point, she can. But this little that we're just gonna leak a little bit of information and set the world on fire and watch this stuff blow up, that's not helpful to anybody. And all it does is cause this whole snowball effect of all of this crap, where it naturally pits people against each other and everything else. And we have the choice to just not participate in that. And I really think that that's where all of this needs to go.
Yeah, but so the thing is, your point though, yeah, we agree there's a difference between making public accusations and private ones, and you, to your point, she had a right to defend herself when my text leaked and became public. But we need to remember that it was first on October 3rd and October 4th that she said my name to thousands of people on two separate occasions, accused me before I'd ever said a word to her. So I don't even want to know what she said privately. Luckily for her, her texts weren't leaked. The text that was shared, that was on October 13th that I said that, by the way. So full 10 days after she'd publicly accused me on two separate occasions, said my name to thousands of people with no proof, no evidence of anything. And nobody has any proof of anything at this point of who shared anything. Like I've seen none of it, and trust me, I've behind the scenes I've tried to figure it out, and nobody has offered any proof. And I think they don't realize how damaging those accusations can be about people, just as damaging as being the one allegedly recording somebody, but sharing it too. And they offer these things out without proof and just as matter of fact, and it's supposed to be believed. Like, yeah, people are privately going to try and figure out the real story.
Well, I think there's twofold to what you're saying, right? Like if you're texting with someone, anybody, it doesn't matter if you're involved in the Karen Reed case, it doesn't matter if you have a following, it doesn't matter if you're a content creator. Who in their right mind is like putting their hand on a Bible and texting their best friend about their coworker or your sister about your mother? Like no one's doing that, right? Like so to take and extrapolate like the emotions out of like private messages and make it this giant thing is really odd, considering like you could have a conversation and kind of nip it in the bud. That's kind of a weird position, like I think for people to take, that all of a sudden like direct messages or text messages or private messages, like nobody like talks about somebody and like some type of like normal, like, hey, I think this person's doing this, because you're not in a court of law, you're not in a stand, you're not putting your hand on the Bible. That, first of all, there's like that part. And then the second part is once it becomes public, it doesn't mean that they're doubling down in a private message. It just means that the private message is leaked. If you want to address it, then address it. That's fine. You can handle that however you want to handle it. When it comes to like the general public addressing situations, like as much as I'd like to think that, um, Jason's concept of let's take pause and hold on and not address everything or not jump onto like the coattails and ride the emotion of the piggyback pig pile. I don't think that that's going to happen because it's the internet and it's X, so it's just going to happen. However, for like the people who are not intellectually deficient and who can critically think, who can watch things and understand what's happening and go, I think I might pause. I might wait and see what happens. That's where the difference is made.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's a good time to go to her, flash forward to her show this week. So she has said, doubled down that the only reason she did this show there, where she calls me worse than the fake victim, she talks about my intelligence, called me stupid, attacked my looks. She justified that by saying she only was doing it because I started talking about her, which is just blatantly, it's just not true. Before I even heard, she crossed my mind, she was publicly to thousands of people saying my name on October 3rd and 4th, well before I vented to anyone. And she justified what she's done this week to me because I then 10 days later in a private text to somebody thought that it could possibly be her. And honestly, I had my other reasons. I'm not going to go into the details of them. I think I did think she inserted herself into this. I think the fact that Aiden was defending Nurse Kim and Will all week and saying that they had nothing to do with it. The same people who were just part of performances with him at the Wilbur by his side and close to him. I think that was part of it. She wanted to insert herself into it. She just released the Flipperhead recording for him and she wasn't getting the praise. And you know what? I never wanted any of this to come out publicly, but it has. And because my private text were leaked, in response to her talking about me first, I guess I deserved all of these attacks, to everything from my looks to my intelligence to how I am as a mother. She said I was just a crazier version of the fake victim, I think, but a better mother, and that was it. So that's what I deserve, I guess. So I don't know.
Well, I know, like, I'll just be open and honest. Like, we talked about this earlier, and that those like attacks and those shots were unnecessary, and it didn't need to go there. And I don't think that it's fair that those comments are made. Like, period, end dot. Like, it just it doesn't need to go there, especially when you're talking
Yes.
about two two people who have a different relationship with one person. Your relationship with Aiden and her relationship with Aiden is very different, and your perspectives and your opinions are very different. And to take those like personal shots is just not fair and unnecessary, and probably just somebody yapping to yap, which tends to happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there and do personal attacks on her. You're right about she maybe heard him venting to her to our relationship. I vented to my friends, and they're not putting that stuff out there. What you're hearing from one text is just like a glimpse into one piece of a very complicated relationship, and it's really nobody else's business. And I don't ever intend on putting that out there. We were happy for a while, and ultimately there were bumpy times, and it ultimately didn't work out. But I wish no harm on him. I wish nothing but the best for him, and I have no intentions of dragging our relationship out publicly and kind of going to the levels that she has. I mean, today I guess I heard she had a stream where she was like fighting with her husband or something. I'm not going to go there because that's just a glimpse. Who knows? That's none of my business what their 13-year marriage is like. That's just like she doesn't know about what happened with my relationship. I don't know about hers. I'm not gonna go that. It's not my place. So I guess I'll just stick to just some of the other things she talked about that are more just factual and aren't personal, just to go back with. So one of the things she said, as a matter of fact, was that I went to Karen and shared an alleged recording. So this is just blatantly false. By the time I was even told about the phone call, the accusation was already made about an alleged recording. I wasn't talking to the Karen at the time of the recordings. I've since spoken to her in the last couple of weeks but I'm not going to share our conversations. Most of it has not been about the recordings either, but I did want to clear some things up about when there were things being said about me sharing things that I wasn't. But again, I'm not going to get into details, but the thing that just stated as fact that I shared them with Karen is simply false. We weren't talking at the time, and I didn't even hear about it till after there were accusations made. So the next one, she made up this wild story that I had somehow hacked Aiden's devices. This is false. I'm not a hacker. No one was hacked. Don't you think if he was hacked, there would be a lot more interesting things to shared. I do. I mean, I don't know his passwords. I never did during our relationship. I didn't have access to his iCloud. Aiden and I have been broken up since the middle of July. I haven't had any devices. He has all of his devices. I don't have access to anything. And by the time this call happened on August 29th, I we weren't even talking. I had not access to nothing. So Jess even went so far to say that she was afraid I was going to hack her. Like, that's just, I'm sorry, but that's just like a boomer thing to say. Like that, like my mom will call me once a week saying she's hacked because like Fox News has convinced her that, like Apple's having a data breach and they're hacked. Like, no, I'm not a hacker. I'm a CPA. Like the fact that she would say I hacked her, just to say, no, I don't want to see Jess Machado's phone. Sorry. It's
Are you
besides the
saying
point.
that you're not Fox News?
Yeah. So
Uh,
I'm just I'm trying not to get like carried away, but like it was upsetting hearing these things about me. Like that sounds like literally crazy.
Well, again, right? Like the point is that there were a lot of things that were said about you. You've proved like the context, the timeline, you've got the dates. So there was a lot of things that were not factual and it was more opinion based. And, I guess people are allowed to have their opinion and that's fine, but you can't have like a based narrative. So after everything that you've like kind of brought up and outlined like this evening, I think you've kind of proven the point that you're not, this psycho crazy person that anyone should be scared of. You're not a deep state Iranian hacker that can get the Israeli nuke codes. And you're a person that is human, that is complicated, that was in a complicated relationship. And as a result of being in that complicated relationship, there were complications when that relationship ended. And it's really that simple,
Yeah.
even though people want to try to make it more complicated than it is.
And I will say this: she's implied that I'm like mad at Aiden or would do some type of revenge. Like that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm not mad at him. If I'm being totally honest, I'm a lot happier today than I was before we broke up. Because while there were times that we were happy, it was bumpy, and I have no ill will against him. Though our relationship ended, it was a good time while it lasted, but it didn't, and that's really all it is. It's nobody's business about the details about why we broke up. The fact is, I didn't reach out to him for quite a while after we broke up. I wasn't the first one to reach out, and I'll leave it at that. It's nobody's business. But no, I wasn't mad at him. I wasn't sort of. And then she says you need to move on, or you haven't moved on. But I'll be blunt. I've gone on several dates. I have moved on. I'm certainly not gonna ever rush into a relationship anytime soon. And the next time I am, it's gonna be very private. Just dealing with this the last year, being with somebody who is not only public, but also, besides all the support he has a lot of enemies that then latch onto you. Like for the 2 years or almost 2 years we were together, it was just from the second it was out there and the people knew about us, it was just daily. All the people on the other side that have hated him for years posting about me, people I'd never spoken to, and I never wanted. I honestly, as happy as I was at sometimes of this, I never want to fucking do that again. Like never. I never want to do that again. I never want to have anything but a relationship that's extremely private after this. And so yes, I have moved on. I'm not this like scorned ex. I'm not angry with him. I hope for the best for him. I don't want him to get like have anything bad to him. I mean, I invested a lot of time during the last couple of years when we were together, like helping with his legal stuff and helping with to try and make his life better in every way. Like when he was out of jail and like the divorce, like stuff with his kids. I tried to help him have a good home to spend time at his house with the kids when it was a really big transition for him. Like I put together bunk beds and I thought of like fun things to do with them and with the elf. So the thought that like this accusation that I'm angry and I want to hurt him and get back at him, it couldn't be further from the truth after all the time I put in. And I don't regret it, but I wouldn't do it again. Like I wouldn't be in a relationship like this again. So yeah, it's really hurtful having like being accused of something like the opposite of what I am. I don't know.
I think that everyone hears the authenticity and what you're saying, and I think that that's kind of the point of the space, right? The point of all this was for people to have context, to have dates, to understand the timeline, to understand how everything like worked from your perspective, whether you were feeling, attacked or you just wanted to clarify like issues. And I think you kind of hit everything. I don't feel like you need to justify yourself further. I don't feel like you need to explain yourself further. I think that it's there. And I
Yeah.
think that you've kind of proved like whatever narrative there is about you is probably false and probably made up by crazy people. And you can just, we can end the space and that's it, and anyone can refer to it when they think that you are something that you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I just,
people are allowed to grow. They're allowed to interact. They're allowed to understand how things happen, like, and how people move, and how being thrust into a potential spotlight and be attacked from the day that you're a presumed girlfriend to, you know, today when you're not. And there's like so many things that happen along the ways. So it's important for you to put the timeline out as to what the quote unquote public allegations are for you being this, maniacal, I'm going to get you person to, hey, this is the timeline. This is the interaction. This is how I feel. I just want to put the timeline out there. I want to make sure that people understand my character and my integrity stays the same as it has been. And that's it.
yeah, no, I mean, there's a million and more things I want to like scream right now is like that are giving more details and more, I guess, proof. Like you can't really prove you didn't do something, but I mean, she's the things that I've been accused of have come with no proof. So I don't really know. It's just going to be an endless war of back and forth accusations. I mean, she said a lot of personal things about me. I'm not going to say that. And she ended her space by saying, "Okay, now like don't talk about me anymore, and then this will end." And I'm not trying to continue this by in any way, but you can't just make all these crazy accusations of me and then just be like, okay, then you're not allowed to say anything ever again back. Like I'm not trying to continue this. And I tried to make this really not about her or anybody else, but just more what I'm allowed to say at this time. And I don't know. I don't really know what
Well,
else to say.
I don't think it's what you're allowed to say. I think it's you're just speaking your truth and you're answering questions and accusations that have been kind of thrown your way, and maybe it puts it in perspective for people, and they can decide whether they believe your words and your dates and your facts and the receipts that you have that can back all that stuff up. Um, and that's it. Like there's nothing more that needs to be said. You like address the situations. You've addressed everything that you can address. You've been I think if I was somebody else, you've not like stepped on any toes, and you've been able to really put in context like the timeline and explain your character and your response and why you've been the way that you've been and why you said what you said. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you got anything else to say. Like, I think you nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, there are more accusations for me, but I don't need to go and address them line by line. I want this to just end. I don't want to talk about this again. I think I don't know. I don't know how you can say you support Karen or you support Aiden and want to keep going on and on and on about this. It's not at this point with the battling sides, it's not helping anybody. It's just tearing a new person down every week. That's
Nope.
And
I agree.
and I apologize for the record what I've said in private text to people. I've learned my lesson now. I'm not going to say, I don't trust anybody. I'm not going to, like, I'm try to have phone call conversations when I absolutely have to, but then I don't even know if I'm being recorded at this point. I'm literally terrified to say a word to anybody. So, but I apologize for mentioning anybody else and bringing it up to this. I never expected my conversations to be shared, and I'm sorry that they are, and that you then felt you had to defend yourself because of things I said. So I'm not going to name any names, but I'm just a general apology to anybody.
I think that's the best way to
And
end
I
it.
guess I would just think back, if you look at your own conversations, if you would be okay with everybody seeing that tomorrow, those all being posted, and before you judge, I guess, because I don't think you would. I don't think anybody would want all their things that they've said over text posted everywhere. And you probably wouldn't say them if you did, if you had that expectation. So
Well, I think it's perfect. Ready to end it?
Yep, I think it's the right time.
That's it.
The end.
End it.
all right, thanks guys.
It looks like it's over. Let me just make sure. They put it on pause. Now it's over. Okay. Um, yeah, I think she sounded sincere and genuine. And she really hasn't talked about this. She's got a lot of allegations against her. I heard some of them. It is weird too that Jess inserted herself. She did. She definitely inserted herself in this. It's weird. Oh, what the duck! Thank you so much, what the duck. It was great to see you last night too. To finally put a face with your screen name. Thank you so much. Gifted 5 Young Jerks memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you, what the duck. Thank you, 2W Thank you so much. Not here. You don't get an appearance fee for being a snitch here. Definitely not. We don't like self snitching either. I mean, just sometimes be quiet. Listen to your attorney. Um, yeah, I got a link. If anyone wants to call in, we don't have that many people here, so I'm not expecting. I haven't advertised it or anything, but got a couple minutes. If you want to call in, I don't know about last night, about the Meredith space, about the NBA, about Kelsey's friend coming on the show Monday night at 6 p.m. Maybe you want to talk about Giga. Anything, open. You can yell at me if you want to be a jerk and yell at me. You can do that as well. I'll take it for a couple seconds at least. Open link. Let me put it in the links again in the chat. If you want to, open link challenge. If anyone wants to come on down, I know the longer I stay on here, the more likely you'll see it and catch up in the chat. So we might maybe hang out for a couple minutes. Like it's not going through on Facebook. I don't know why, but it's there on YouTube at least. No one can yell at me. Talk to my girlfriend. I'm super excited about that too. Monday night at 6 p.m. We should have a big week of shows here too. Yeah, that's the thing about Jess. I mean, she went after LTL. She went after Nurse Kim. She went after me. She went after who else? She's gone after so many people. It's hard to keep track of, honestly. She just keeps going after people all the time. That's like her thing. She thinks it's like I don't see how it's helping her, especially when most of us don't even respond. Hi D, you're on the show. What's going on?
Hey, mate.
How
Great
you
job
doing?
last night at the party. I loved it. I was glad I got to see it.
Were you there or do you watch it at home?
No, I watched it on JFK's show.
Oh, how did it come out? Because I didn't watch it. I
It
have no
was,
idea how it.
oh, it was marvelous. It was awesome.
It was
Played one
weird
of
being
my
on
favorite
stage.
songs.
Yeah, because I was sitting, I was kind of like at the back of the stage, so it was hard to hear what was going on the stage, even
Hmm.
especially when there were a couple people talking, and it's
Right.
it's like so it was hard. So it's like for me, I'm like, I don't know how this is coming out. I have no idea, So, but everyone at home said they liked it, so it sounded like it turned out good.
It did, and I was glad to see everybody together. I just wish all this nonsense would stop, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I
because I
think a
love.
lot of us wish it would, but
Yeah,
it's at the same time, it's kind of serious. Like I get
it
why
is.
people have questions, and I can see why both sides are all up in arms. This is I know a lot of I mean like me, I don't like the drama. I really don't. A lot of people don't like the drama, so they stay away from it. But some people really love this shit. They like thrive on it, and they like to go after this one and go after that one, and it's just like, oh boy, here we go
Oh,
again. It's
especially X. Oh my lord, I don't like that. I do not like X or whatever they want to call it. Space, not for
the one,
me.
yeah. Twitter,
But
yeah,
I
Twitter
mean,
X.
yeah. In all honesty, you know, I I don't know Meredith, but I've seen a lot on the internet in the last 3 weeks, and I think it's just a lot of division going on because people don't want to be. How do you say it? They don't want others to kind of get along. They want to separate their sides, and it's like I don't know. When I first started watching the Karen Reed, and I started with the YouTube on the first trial. And, I was kind of unaware of whether or not she was guilty, not guilty, but I had to see it all the way through. And then when Turtle Boy come into it, that's when it started to come into play because the more of what was coming out. And I still believe she didn't hit John O'Keefe. And I wish they would get justice with John O'Keefe and his family would kind of see that. And I'm just not sure where, it was just the McCabe and Albert they're afraid of not wanting to see the truth from that because they were so close to John O'Keefe. What do you think on that?
I mean, it's about the family themselves.
Yes. Or
Yeah,
why they can't see that?
I think Jennifer McCabe influenced them from go, and I think
True.
that the Free Cara Reid movement also pushed them away. Like, and I'm not saying like we did that deliberately or it's our
Mm-hmm.
fault or anything, but I just
No.
feel like that's the way they looked at it. They looked at it like, oh man, these people are against us, So I think that
Mm-hmm.
mindset it's just established so soon for them
Mm-hmm. I
before they
agree.
looked at everything. So it's hard to go
Yeah.
back on that. So you never
I
know.
agree.
They might come around. That's what I hope. Especially, I always wonder about the niece and nephew. When they go older, because you never know. They might start questioning it too.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with them being, their parents passing and then this happening. And, that's hard. That's traumatizing for children. 100%. And um, it's it's just all this stuff going around the internet right now. You just don't know what's true, what's not true. And I think, JFK when he did his show was just wanting to get to the truth, but it just kept getting. And I love JFK. Don't get me wrong. I love JFK show. But there's some
Sure.
shows I won't prescribe to, and that's the one just Machado. Sorry. Don't deal with that kind of notness, but that's for me. That's just for me. Um, but yeah, and I just want to say I'm so glad y'all had a great time last night. It was good to see you there, Money Mike.
Funny Mike, it's so funny too because he gave us a bag for the polos. He gave us a bag. He literally gave us a going away bag for the polos, and I'm still wearing it. I made sure last time I went shopping.
Hmm.
This was before all this controversy. I went shopping and I got a bunch of polo stuff because I was like, because of JFK, talking about the polos. I'm like, I can afford the polos now. I don't need the boost. I don't even.
Mhm.
I can buy the polos. I'm buying the polos. I'm stuffing them in the bag and I'm paying for it.
There you go.
I'm old enough to be able to afford this stuff now. I don't always have to be cheap money, Mike. That's the way I've been for so many decades trying to save my money and
Yeah,
now I'm just a making money, Mike. It's so funny.
yeah. Well, I
I
think
love
once
it. I
everything
love
gets
how people got jealous of the making the money and then JFK turned it around to like this positive thing for me. I fucking That's what I love about JFK. He is funny.
you got to
Funny
keep
as hell.
everything in a positive situation, or you just drag off on the negativity. And when you fall in that negativity mode, it just throws everything way off field. Try to keep
It's
everything in a positive.
Yeah, and what's better than seeing people jealous about your success? Like that's like the best
Absolutely.
thing ever. It's like you're
Jealousy.
jealous because I'm winning. You're jealous
Yeah.
because I'm winning. Really? I thought we were friends.
Right.
I thought I helped you out. I thought I
And
got you. You know, it's funny how that works, right?
you're right.
I don't know why
And
that
he's
happens. I don't know. I never got that. I never got that.
me either. And I don't
I got a lot of
understand.
friends that have success, and I love them. I support them. I watch them grow. I'm like a
Yeah.
proud friend to a lot of people who have had. I never got that. I've never been that way. Like, I don't
Right.
understand it.
Yeah. The jealousy thing's that's definitely not a no no. It's a no no. Ain't no
Yeah,
sense of being jealous of anybody else. But, I think in the end, when Turtle Boy gets rid of all his stuff, it'll all come out and everybody will have a pretty good understanding about why he couldn't say anything because, legally you know, he is kind of hushed hush because of the situation he's in. Don't want to get in no more trouble. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. I don't have no opinion on that. It's just I just want to see peace. Cause y'all so
let me ask you a quick question because I got Sheila also waiting and D. Oh, you're here. D's here. I got Sheila though waiting. I'm gonna bring up
that's
Sheila
fine.
in a second. But I want to ask you. You watched last night. What did you think about the family, the Gigalotti family? Because
Oh
I think they did a great
God,
job
the Brooke.
and the fundraising. There was $1,000 plus raised. What do you think about that aspect of last night's event with JFK?
Oh, it was amazing to see them. Y'all donate to them, and it broke my heart to see um his cousin and his aunt there, and it's just heartbreaking to know that they've had to go through something like that that should have never ever happened. And it's heartbreaking, and I feel for them families. I really do. It just breaks my heart, and I
Me
just
too.
wish nothing for them for justice for what has happened to Jigga.
Me too. And
100%.
it felt good. It felt
It,
really good to hug them last night too, and
um,
how thankful they were for us, and how much we got out of just hugging and holding them, and it was
yeah,
amazing. I got to ask you too, like at the end we did a 50-50 raffle, and I'm not sure it was streaming at that point. I
it
don't know if
was.
it was. It was
It
okay.
was on
So when
members.
the 50-50 raffle gets pulled, and making money, Mike, me, I won the 50-50 raffle and I
You
think it
gave it
was
back.
260. I was like, I give it back, and the family's right there. I'm like, give it back to the family. All that money's going back to the family. So they got all the money from the 50-50 raffle. And then Brian LTL is sitting there, and he's like, I'm matching Mike. I'm matching him. And he
Mm-hmm.
threw in. I did you see Brian LTL on screen when he matched it? Because
Gee,
I was.
I did, and then a lot of people started coming up and putting in, and it was the most
That's right. And other
amazing
people were throwing
thing.
money in. Yeah, and that
Yes,
like put us way
and
over 1,000.
that's a blessing, and that's a blessing in itself for the family. Even though money can't take away from what's happened, but it's just the thought and the appreciation the family had for y'all doing that, and it was just amazing, and I was crying because I told JFK one time, I said, "I have this song for Kieran Reed and for anybody else that has been in a criminal system and been falsely accused," and it was Pat Benatar, and that is one of my favorite songs that I love to
Love that
listen to
song.
because there's too much corruption, and she speaks it in her song, and it's just, who are we fighting for? Face your
Yeah.
enemies. You
Who are
know,
we fighting for? And we're gonna be
that's right.
invincible. That's a
That's right.
beautiful thing. I felt that last night. I had such a dancing moment. I don't know if that was that live. Did they show the dancing
Yes.
when we were all dancing?
I
I
actually
went
fell
nuts because
asleep and I woke up hearing that song like,
oh
yeah.
I was gunning. I was like I just
It
yeah,
brought
you
tears to
know,
my eyes. I was like,
what are
oh
we
man.
fighting for? I mean, that's
Yep.
just such a that
You've
should
got
be
no
our
rights to
motto.
be angry.
Yeah. It's like that's
Yep.
it. Like, what are we fighting for? That should
Mm-hmm.
be what we always think about. That's what I've been
Yep.
thinking about a lot. I'm fighting
Stand
for
up.
Gigalotti. I'm fighting for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I'm fighting for John O'Keefe, for Karen Reed. I
Mm-hmm.
want Francis Choi to get some justice in Bristol County. There's so many people to fight for, and so
Oh God, Kelsey that breaks my heart for Kelsey. I cannot believe that tears me apart. And I say this to my children because they've got kids. Co-parenting is a difficult situation, but however, for the length of time that you have in front of another parent, regardless of how you feel, you got to put your kids aside for those few, whatever hour or two you got to spend with them and just be at peace so these kids can be at peace and not see that arguing and fighting and fussing. It's just so heartbreaking. And it breaks my heart to see Kelsey without her child right now. I'm about to cry because you man, I could not. I
it's
can't.
horrible, D. It's
It
horrible.
is
And you know what?
because
I gotta
she's
say, I'm
behind
gonna let you.
bars.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna let you go, but I want to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
A lot of shit's gonna come out very soon. I'm
Amen.
telling you.
I
Like
believe that.
Bradle is gonna have a moment in this. I just know it, and there's a lot of shit to come out. That's all I'm
Go watch
saying. Like
Zelda. Have you watched Zelda yet?
I have. I watched Zelda. She's great. I love her. She
She
did it.
did
She
it.
read my cards.
She read one on Aiden the other day too. It right to the T too. And I promise it is all gonna come out.
It is. It is on
100%.
Kelsey. What happened to Kelsey and her boyfriend, her
Mm-hmm.
fiance? There's a lot of stuff that's going to come. I'm looking forward to it, and just stay tuned. It's going to be coming up. I believe in the first week in November. It looks like, right? Is that the next or December? December.
December
This
the
is end of November and then beginning of December. Like that's
right.
when things are going to really pop off. Next
Oh
30
yeah.
days.
I'm waiting.
I'm
I hope
waiting.
she's
All right.
free.
Thank you so much for calling in, D. Thanks for
You have a
watching last
blessed
night.
night.
Thank you. You too.
All
Bless
right.
you,
Bye
D.
bye. Bye.
Bye now. Oh, she was great. I should have asked her where she was calling from. I'm gonna take Sheila. Josie's also here too. Sheila, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing excellent.
I was shocked you even went live. I was at the salon working and I put you on while my color was processing to hear what you were talking about. And then the whole
Oh,
spaces thing, like, oh my gosh. So I want to say I've tried to call in several times. I know you know who I am. I donate to your cause all the time.
yes, you do. Thank you so much.
So during the trial, my brother used to be a paramedic. And so the one thing I've always wanted to say when I called in is if I drove up to my brother or my friend's house and my ex-boyfriend, who my brothers hated, who's a lot like Kelsey's ex-boyfriend, by the way, I can tell, I would have banged on his door, not called 911. He was a paramedic. Right? Like that. And the fact that the cop didn't come out the side. Okay, first of all. Second of all, I had a car crash on my front lawn when I was 10 years old. I woke up, the lights, the siren, everything. Like I've had two situations where that's happened. So it's like, come on. You didn't come outside to see what's going on your front lawn and you're a cop and a first responder? Nuts.
Funny you mentioned that because what about Kelsey's fiance?
Oh,
He's a first responder too. He didn't. He when he heard the gunshots, he didn't. Apparently, he didn't run inside to
he ran
do.
away.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
ran away.
His baby mama. You
You,
know, he ran away.
this
He didn't.
whole,
Says
right?
a lot.
I heard you yesterday. I
That's
saw
what
the
I'm hearing, anyways. That allegedly, we'll say allegedly, because you
allegedly.
know,
We
everything's allegedly until court happens. But
correct.
I mean, the problem with him too is he won't answer. Him and his lawyer, no comment, no comment.
You know, my parents divorced too, and it affected me too, but thank God for therapy. But My dad treated my mother, and she's the one that left him. He treated her like the queen her whole life. I didn't like her, but my dad was kind to her. And in the end, she came and she helped us take care of him when he was dying of his cancer. And they actually worked out something at the end. But my dad made that role model. That's the mother of my child. My brother got divorced. I still call my sister in law sister. She's my nephew's mother. We're always going to be in their life. And this whole thing, Kelsey, it makes me sick to my stomach. She can't breastfeed her kid, she can't see her kid. In California, a cop just shot a woman and she won $2 million. In
Can you
Massachusetts,
imagine how much she could get?
they lock you up and arrest you. What
I
the
know.
actual bleep?
That's part of why I think they're pressing her so hard, because they know there's going to be civil suits and could bankrupt the town. I mean, we could talk millions of dollars.
He made a mistake. He PTSD'd out and shot her.
And you know, the other thing too is like what you mentioned about what's best for the baby.
Right.
The question that I asked right in front of both grandparents and the stepdad, the mom, the father, they're all standing right there. And I look at them sitting in the front row, showing up for every hearing. The mom and the stepdad rearranging their whole house, their whole life, kicking out one of the kids because the judge had a problem with it. They were like going to bat. Both of these parents, you know, divorced parents. That's like they are the role model. Actually, this couple, Kelsey's parents, very successful. Their kid, not Kelsey. They have another child, very successful. Like they are the perfect parents. They get divorced, and obviously they don't get along on everything. Let's just put it that way. But they do for Kelsey. They do for the son. They do for their kids, and you can tell. And
It's not.
and the way that they handle themselves in court, I can see it. And I've been talking to them, and I just have to say, like, that was the first question I asked Tim Bradle and that attorney that day. It was, what about the grandparents? Because the grandparents didn't do anything. The grandparents are role models. The grandparents are as good as you can get. And I think they're the best thing for that baby is to be around those grandparents, not the other grandparents, the grandparents that don't get to see the baby right now. And my question for Justin again is, why are you going to make the grandparents sue to get access to that baby? Why won't you just do it
They
and
can't.
just say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's let the grandparents see the baby. That shouldn't even be something that they have to hire an attorney for. That's something Justin, as a man, should do what's best for that baby. What do you think?
He needs the help with the baby. When they said in court that the baby's in daycare, there's all those people. The baby does not need to be in daycare. It's, what, 5 months, 6 months old now. It's so wrong. I'm praying. I really did like that judge, though, yesterday. I really liked her, except for that I heard she made you late. That's like, wait, that's the whole game there. But honestly, she seemed reasonable, unlike the
She
other.
did. Yeah, I think she's a good. I think she'll handle it well. I think this judge is going to be fair.
100%. I agree. And
I like
her,
this comment from Laurie. She said, "Look at the mom and the stepdad and the dad getting along. They are all co-parenting, even for older kids." That's
yeah,
exactly it. They are the role model.
yeah.
Justin, you should learn from Kelsey's parents. Like, dude, you should be emulating them, not whatever you're emulating, Justin, because it's not working. I can already see it. What do you think, Sheila?
I think he looks like an arrogant son of a bitch, allegedly. I don't, in my opinion, sorry.
Yeah.
My opinion is he reminds me of my ex-boyfriend that thank God I didn't have a child with. Thank God. Honestly, I just, smacked that smirk off his face. It made me just mad. And I'm not condoning, I don't do violence.
Oh.
I'm just saying it's so upsetting, and God bless her. I feel so bad. And I feel so bad for Meredith. This whole ordeal, I've seen one person out there starting trauma and drama. One person.
Just gets her name, Jess Machado.
I don't even need to say it.
She likes to say everyone else's name, so why can't we say her name? Because
I've got her
that's the
blocked.
thing. She inserted herself. Meredith hasn't said shit. Meredith has
Has
done what
not
I'd want my girlfriend to do in that situation if we broke up. Is like, don't make my shit public. Like, be
right.
quiet. Like,
Because-
and
And he has
and even with the, I just want to say this before I let you come back. And even with the private messages that got leaked, like Meredith wasn't trying to blow his shit up. She was trying to like settle it down privately. Even though those messages got leaked and they weren't ideal for Aiden, she wasn't trying to blow up his shit. You can see that she was trying to like quiet it down. Like, I don't see her. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I thought she was very believable tonight. What do you think?
100%. I trust her. I mean, she's a smart woman. She's a CPA. You know how hard it is to be a CPA? I mean, you probably had to take the same test, right? When you were doing
No, different ones, but yeah, CPA test is not
very
easy.
hard. She's
It's a
very
hard
smart.
test.
She's
People
got,
study for that for a long time,
yeah,
actually.
I know other people, it's hard. I totally believe her. I feel so bad for her. Neither of them have even said they broke up. Everyone wanted to keep it quiet. I totally respect their privacy. I don't care. I'm not, but she finally had to defend herself, and I'm glad she did it.
So, and I gotta say, I've never met a dumb CPA. I
Never.
could say I've met some dumb people with a Series 6 or 7, which I had. I had some other licenses too, more advanced than that. But,
Well,
Series 7, usually people are pretty smart too, or
it,
Series 6, but you sometimes see some dummies still. But a CPA, that's like
and
it's
isn't it?
another level. It's like being a lawyer. You can't be a dummy to be past the bar exam. You can't be a dummy to pass the CPA exams.
It's dumb to protest while she's sitting in Boston. Hello, Boston Harbor. Hello. Is that dumb? Yeah,
Yeah.
that is dumb to say it's dumb.
Yeah.
Meredith is not dumb.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, especially some people saying some dumb stuff. It's funny. Yeah, I love that. You threw some shade, Sheila. You were good. That was a good little dig.
I
I love
it's,
little subliminal. Love
I just
it.
speak the truth, man. I mean,
You
I live
are.
in
You're speaking the
California.
truth. Anything else you want to throw in before we let you go?
I,
Because I got
I
Josie
brought
Lou.
I brought the case out to California. No one had heard about it out here. It was not big, unlike other people say. I was actually a guest on a podcast as the Karen Reed expert because
Wow, awesome.
I'll send it to you.
Send
I'll,
it over. We'll
I'll
take a
send
look at it.
the link. All right.
Congratulations. You're an expert now.
Well, only on the Karen Reed case. Actually, Defense Diaries started talking about Scott Peterson, and I'm like, oh no, I'm the expert on that. That was in my area. Every time I drive by San Quentin Prison, I laugh and think Scott Peterson is looking at where he let that baby and his wife float out into the water on Christmas Day. Like, I can't even listen to that podcast. I know too much, and it's making me crazy. But I'll let somebody else up. You
All
guys have
right, excellent. Thank you so much, Sheila. I'm so glad you called
I
in tonight. I love all your donations and support. I really appreciate you. Have a
appreciate
great night.
you. Bye.
Bye, Sheila. Love it. First time caller. I got Josie Lou. You got to turn on your mic. You're live on the screen.
Well,
There you go, Josie.
hello, Big Money Mike.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great.
It was good to see you last night supporting my boy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, I think, for a good cause. We raised money for Gigalotti.
And
They
I heard,
fed me. That was
and I,
my only vig, actually. That's all I got. People were asking, did you get paid last night? I got free food. And I ate two plates, Mike.
oh
I
wow,
got I was the first one. I cracked open the meatballs. I had
you
some
got your
chicken.
money's worth.
Yeah, chicken
Yeah,
Alfredo. And I had my second plate done before anyone else had even eaten. So,
good for you. Well, in light of everything that's going on, I just wanted to see if you would give me a few minutes so I can tell you a story because you could probably relate to this. When I was
sure.
little, 2 or 3 years old, they had this little fake house made of cardboard and all these puppets behind what looked to be a house from the front, right? And there was a little puppet cow, a little puppet piglet, there was a little tiger. There were like all the characters from Winnie the Pooh and different voices, and it would entertain me for hours. I was the only girl among brothers and cousins. It was about 12. So I was the only girl. As I was getting older, I figured out, I was looking forward to that time where the puppets would come behind the house and they would all talk to me and make funny noises. And whoever was doing it, which I didn't know, had a little acoustic guitar and a little whatever behind it. So it was entertaining. How little did I know that it was the same person making all of these different voices. The same person. She became Tigger, she became Piglet, she became Eeyore, she became Winnie the Pooh. And she was playing the guitar at the same time, too. I was heartbroken because once I got old enough to see and wander around the back of the little house that was painted in the front, I was expecting to see four different characters and maybe a musician with a guitar. And I saw it was one person. I'm telling you this story because JFK, in one of the last shows that he did, he made an analogy about this guy that he was sharing his food with. And he didn't know who this guy was, he didn't know what this guy had done. At the end of the day, I think, you know, and I know that you will agree with me, the normal news media is going to go away. We're all going to rely on you, on all of you, to tell us what's going on, what's truth and what's not. It's true. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. You don't have to talk about your private lives. You are all entitled to your private lives. Everybody is. And there are some things that should remain private. Private conversations between people should remain private. I don't agree with the sharing of the text messages or throwing people under the bus at times that is convenient. It's just it's classless, it's tasteless. But I also believe that if we're going to be supporting causes, situations, corruption, lies, and we're going to be standing up and, like the song says, what are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? We're fighting for justice. We're fighting for truth. So the people that we support, that we follow, that we give our time, we deserve the truth from them too. If something didn't happen, it wouldn't have come out. So I just spent maybe half an hour, 35 minutes listening to Meredith. And I thought the world of her. I thought that it was better when she was around. I thought that she made Total Boy better. She held him to higher standards. But at the same time, like we all said, accountants are very clever. They calculate everything. They know exactly where the mistakes are. And even after they make the mistakes, they know where they make the mistakes. There were people that were present at the Wilbur and people that were backstage. Some of those people did not follow to the Encore Hotel. Some of those people did. At some point, because this is out, it is important that somebody assumes responsibility. At the same time, I understand that assuming accountability and responsibility for something could be, it may be tricky at this given time, right? But the pointing fingers and the mocking and, having somebody caught on crossfire that didn't deserve it is not right. So I'm done with the puppets. I want to know who's behind that little house. And I want to hear truth from people. And I think everybody would agree with that.
I agree 100%. I love your analogy. I love that because it seems like there are a lot of puppets and a lot of people that don't want to be real. And sometimes if you can't tell the truth, okay, don't tell the truth, but just don't lie. That's a
Hmm.
problem when people start talking shit and
Yep.
just like sometimes if you can't tell the truth, just go away for a minute. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like some people just seem like to pour gasoline on it. And I really appreciate your call. There's a comment here. I want to read it. I want to see what you think. I want to say my piece on it first too. Before I let you go, I got LTLs in here too. I want to make sure I get LTL. But this comment keeps coming up today. Darlene says, "Why did you have a thing the same night as Halloween party for Turtle Boy, asking for a friend?" I hope you tell all your friends this, the friend, Darlene, because what I've heard and found out, I agreed to do this event. Last spring when they did the last event. So basically, they did their last event. in the spring. We had no idea in October that Turtle Boy was going to be doing an event on the same night when I said yes to it. I didn't manage the event, but from my understanding, this was decided many months ago and well before Turtle Boy announced it because it was based on Nan's schedule, her schedule for work, and when she was going to be available. And this was the weekend that they selected around Nan Gallagher, the attorney's schedule. And that's why it was picked on this Friday. And it was before anybody knew that Turtle Boy was having an event. JFK and them had booked the event well before Turtle Boy announced it. That's my understanding. And I'm not sure why people keep assuming that like JFK was trying to compete with Turtle Boy. That wouldn't be smart for him. Like as soon as I found out that they were on the same night, I hit up JFK and I said, "Is there any way we can change it?" He's like, "No, damn." He's like, "I wish we could, but we're locked in, unfortunately." That was JFK who booked the thing. He didn't want to have it on the same night, but it just turned out that way, unfortunately. Do you want to say anything about that, Josie?
No, other than the fact that, people need to understand that there are some people that don't compete with other people. Some people compete with themselves. Nobody else is our competition. We look at the mirror and we look at ourselves and we try to raise standards for ourselves. We try to, bring up the bar a little higher as we go on life. What we used to do when we were kids, this backstabbing, going around and gossiping around and trying to make somebody look bad so another person looks better, it doesn't work in the real world. It doesn't work in adulthood. And some of us have kids. We are the role models for these kids. If we if you look at it from a perspective of the Karen Reed trial, it's almost like we're acting worse than the characters that were involved in this situation. At some point, we have to start holding ourselves accountable at a higher standard than what we're trying to fight for. Because we can't fight for something that we are emulating. It's impossible.
We're
It's
being just as bad as they are. And again, what are we
exactly,
fighting for? That's
exactly.
what I
What are we
always keep
fighting
come
for?
back. What are we fighting for? And I'm
Yep.
fighting for justice for Jigga. I'm fighting for justice for Kelsey. I'm fighting for justice for John O'Keefe. I'm fighting for justice for Karen. I'm fighting for justice for Francis Choi. There's a lot to fight for,
There's a lot to
and I
fight
think
for.
yeah, and I love what you said too. Like you made a lot of good points here. Going back even just the way things used to be. It used to be different, and it just that's what I always contemplate. And the fact that you said this is what I love the most, Josie. Your call has been phenomenal. It's
Thank
because
you.
I come from a wrestling background, right?
Yep.
And we mentioned Dan Gable earlier in the stream tonight. Dan Gable, the greatest wrestler of all time, lost a match. Um, no matter how good you are, there's probably someone that's better than you. And always in wrestling, and this is what I learned is it's all about competition with yourself. It's not really about that other guy.
Yep.
It's about you doing a little better.
Yep.
Sometimes like one of the biggest wins I ever had as a coach is when a kid on the JV team won his first match, and just for him to get on the mat required like 100 doctor's visits. The kid had so many
Oh wow.
physical handicaps with his heart and his legs and his body and
Jeez.
that kid in his jaw, like he had a lot of handicaps, and that kid never gave up. And that kid, every time he wrestled on the mat, just to get on the mat, just to have a match, people would
Then
cheer for him because
yeah,
he'd be
but
on his back. He'd be on his back and just fighting for his life because
yeah.
this is all he wanted to do is wrestle. And his parents and his doctor said no, and he kept saying yes. And I was actually the one guy who believed in him. I was like, "You're gonna wrestle. We're gonna get you to wrestle." And
Yeah, but
when he won that match, every single person in that gym stood up. Every single person cheered. It was like that was the biggest win I of my life. Like
wow.
all the wrestling matches I won and all the team wins we had, coaching. That was it. That was the bit. His name's Jeff. He still calls me coach. He's like,
Oh
"Hey,
wow.
coach." He hits me up on Facebook. "Hey, coach, how you doing?" I just like it doesn't. That was him doing better than he should have ever done. Like he didn't win the state title.
But
He just won one JV match.
with the same token, Mike, and I don't know whether you will agree with it, but I've learned this throughout times. Sometimes when you lose, you actually win. And when you
All the
win, you
time. All the
actually
time.
lose.
Yes, I
So
love that. That is
it's
so
just like
true.
It's the same
Wow.
thing. It's the same thing as people are talking about. JFK said the other day, and he broke my heart. He lost 298, 300 people, and because of this, because the differences in opinion, people are judging him because he pretty much opened the doors to his show and welcomed people to exchange different ideas. What happened with Charlie Kirk? So sometimes it's not about quantity, it's about quality. I
Said
rather
he picked up
have
the
three.
quality people. That's
Yeah,
the
I'd
key.
rather
He
have
picked up those
three.
quality people, and he showed
Yes,
that he's not afraid.
yes.
That's the key thing, and people are going to remember that.
And losing
They
sometimes is
they may
a
not like
huge
him,
win.
but
Yep,
they a lot of even the haters respect that now.
yep,
He's got a backbone. So
yep. And the people.
Josie, you've been so I want you to call again. You're amazing.
Thank you. I'll call another time.
You want to
Just
say
be
any final
safe.
thoughts? I don't want to cut you off because I do have
No, no,
LTL. I want to
no.
bring him up.
Be safe. My dogs just came out, so I don't want them to interfere with your thing. But thank you. Just be safe, Mike.
Thank you so much, Josie. I really appreciate the call. I hope
Night.
you call again.
Night. I will.
I know. Wow, that was amazing. I was getting excited by some of the stuff she's saying because I feel it. Like that's always me. I'm always in competition with myself. Sometimes I get aggravated by other people, their actions, but in the end, it's always comes down to me, especially with the show. It's like it doesn't really matter what other people are doing. It just matters to me if I have good content. like like Monday night, you better be here 6 p.m. It's going to be a great show. I also have some great content coming up right now on the stage. We're going to bring up LTL. He was there last night. He's got a very successful YouTube channel, over 50,000 subs. He's a local guy. He's boots on the ground. He was boots on the ground for Karen Reed. He was there a lot. He knows all the players involved. He's taking a lot of shit, but he's also stood up for himself recently. And I'm proud to call him a friend. I'm glad he came down. I was so happy he showed up last night.
Money
LTL,
Mike,
what's up,
Money
bro?
Mike, Money Mike. How are you, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good. Listen, I want to say it was really good to see you in person last night. It's probably been like a year, I think, since we physically seen each other in person.
Probably more.
Yeah,
When was that
maybe
last dinner? When was that dinner? I think that
it's
was,
probably like a year and a
or
half ago too.
it was
Yeah.
probably that fundraiser, that controversial fundraiser. That was probably the
Yeah.
last time I bet.
Yeah, it's always something controversial, right?
Yeah, us just going to an event is controversial.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
But
Christ.
yeah, and listen, I want to commend you, JFK, Nan, the whole panel, all the great people out there last night. I got to shake a lot of hands and have conversations with people, and it was nice to get back out and see some old friends that I haven't seen in a while and meet some new ones as well too. The event was so great. It was positive. We raised a lot of money for Jigga's family. You actually won the raffle, which was you were like, I won, and it was great. You donated the money back. It was good to see
It's
that.
funny, Brian. I
Yeah.
knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
On the way in, I'm like, I'm going to get some 50-50 raffle tickets, and I
Mhm.
guarantee you I'm going to win tonight. I'm going to give it to that family. I thought that in my head, like going in. And it happened.
I love these comments like the LTL is fake and I'm a turncoat and all this other stuff.
Turncoat
Please
on who? Who are you a
reach out
turncoat
to
on?
me. Write me an email and let me know why I'm so
Who-
fake in this
Who have you
email.
turned to? Wait,
I don't
you
know. I guess I'm a
raised a
turncoat.
shitload of money for. I wonder if they raised any money for any of the
Yeah.
people that they say you're a turncoat on.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you
I
done? You've done nothing. It's just unbelievable. These
I'm a
people are so
turncoat.
ungrateful.
I'm a bad
scumbags.
guy. I'm a turncoat. But like I saw a lot of comments today. We posted some photos from the party. Really great to get out and meet everybody. And I saw the things about I'm a turncoat in this. Like, look, because I went to a particular party versus another one. Look, Nan Gallagher is my friend. I've built a very strong friendship with her. Okay. Her and I don't really we do Monday night shows together. Okay. We've been doing that for well over probably 6 to 8 months. Her and I have developed a very strong friendship offline, and I don't get to see her because she lives in Jersey. So when she's in town, I tend to navigate and go towards where my friend is going to be. Because I want to see her and spend time with her. And of course, I wanted to come out and support JFK and if we could do, raise some money for some good causes, and do that. I've split my time evenly between all the events that I can. I haven't been to a JFK event, so I wanted to go and check it out and be there. I've been to Turtle Boy events. I've been to Karen Reed events. I've spent my time.
How much
out in
money
front
have
of
you raised for Turtle Boy?
I couldn't put a dollar figure on it. I mean, I've done a couple of shows to help out. But the thing
More
is
than most.
that
More than most. How many of these critics? How much?
Yeah.
You know, how much fundraising have they done for Turtle Boy? I mean, that's the funniest thing. The people that have no skin in the game, who have done fucking nothing but sit at home and have no fucking life. They're the ones that
Yeah.
cry. And the good people that you see, like the boots on the ground and all the locals, they don't feel that way. That's what was the beauty of going out last night. Is
Yeah.
we saw that people, and when we go out, when we go to court, we
Sure.
see the real people and they like us. So it's like, you know,
I've
whatever they want to
never
say.
been confronted outside, never
Yeah.
had a bad thing said to my face. It's always been hugs and smiles.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. You know, look I'm here to help. And I've always said, if anybody needs my help, you can call me and I will help you. And that's all I've really ever wanted to do, is just keep a positive thing going. And we have a lot of different causes in here that are still ongoing, and new things that we have kind of ventured into as well too, because those people need help. They need it more than we do right now. And I've always just tried to do that. So I don't know, Mike. You know, I think this is a good time for everybody to pause. I think it's a good time for everybody to reset. There's other people out there and other causes in the state of Massachusetts. Francis Gigalotti, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, Karen Reed still needs our support. Aiden Turtleboy still needs our support. There's a lot of things that are still going on, still active and going on out there. I think that if we focus our attention, our positive attention on those causes, instead of ripping into this negative stuff all the time, we'll fucking get a lot more things done.
Absolutely.
When we all band together, look at how good things were in the whole Karen Reed bubble, how good things were through those 2 years that everybody kind of jumped on board, rode the train, did everything they could on their platforms with fundraising, stood out. I mean, if you were a one person standing on a corner with a handwritten sign that just said "Free Karen Reed" or "Free Turtle Boy," whatever the causes that you're standing for, at least you were doing something to help. You know, all those people that stood up over highway, what do they call it? Highway passovers with signs for months and months through the cold, the rain, the snow, people out in front of the courthouses. That's what we need to see more of now.
And you know what? Those people aren't mad at you. That it's funny because I saw Nanya said, I want to read a comment here.
Yeah.
Oh, where is it? Hold on. So she says, so money is more valuable than time. No, time is money. Money is time. It's all the same. Doesn't matter. Some people give time. Some people give money. Brian gives money and time. I give money and time. We give both. And the fact of it is, like, those people who give time and money, whether it's time or money or both, they're not upset. Like, those are the people that have the skin in the game, in my opinion.
And I literally just said it. So to kind of
Yeah.
counterpunch that, I literally just said,
I
if
know.
you're standing on the corner with
And
a
I
sign,
did too. And I said boots on the ground. So
right.
that's yeah. So like, I just want to make
I
sure
think
Nani
people get
is
things
cool. Nani is
Yeah.
cool. She does time. But
I
I
just
just
think-
want to don't
Yeah.
get too mad about that.
I just think people get things mistwisted and misconstrued when it comes to the stuff. If you're doing something, that's the positivity.
She did add a smile.
Of
Like,
course.
so,
Yeah.
You know, and Nani is not complaining about you. Like, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like that's an example. That's exactly what I'm saying to Nani too, and a lot of other folks. Like, the boots on the ground love you, Brian. Like everybody does. Like, anyone that's local. So what I'm saying is, the people that they're a certain type of breed, they don't do anything except
Right.
complain. That's all they do. They're looking for
Well,
every day. If you look at their Twitter feed, every day it's somebody that they're complaining about. That's what their life is.
For
It's not
crow's
doing
sake,
something.
Mike, I have a parody account that is so obsessed with me
Exactly.
that posts between 1 and 3 a.m. They're thinking
Exactly.
about me at that time, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm so much in
Yeah.
this person's head that they post about me between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning. That's how
all they
sick
have is hating on people.
I've gotten
They're
in this
not
person.
they're
I
not
love it.
standing out. They're
I
not
love it.
bringing awareness. They're not
And
doing
I love the
YouTube
lettuce
shows
and the toast. It's cute. You know, it's funny. I love it. But no,
But I gotta prop you up a little more too, because when I won that 50-50 raffle and donated it back,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I looked over and you're like, raising your hand and saying, "I'm pledging." You threw down. You threw down like major money last night. Not only did you not get paid to be there, you bought a ticket. Right?
I
You
bought a
didn't even
ticket.
ask to get in for free, did you?
Nope.
You
No,
could have
no, I
gotten it.
bought a ticket.
S-
I did a
Look
Venmo.
at
I can
this.
show my
This
receipt.
guy fucking gives. Like, this is what I love. Because so many of these people are fake. They want the VIP passes. They want to get in for free.
Mhm.
You could get in for free. They definitely would have let you in because they want you there. And you paid for a ticket.
I paid for a
Then
ticket.
and then you throw down money. You throw down major money to help the family right in front of them. And that felt so good. And I just want to thank you. Like, that was just amazing, dude. You
Yeah, well,
are
I said when you won the raffle, I don't know, it was like I forget the
it was
amount of money, but I
265, I think it was, something
yeah,
like
and I
that.
said, "You know what?" And I screamed through the crowd, "I'm gonna match it," and I made the
And then other
donation.
people started throwing in money.
Yeah,
Other
yeah,
people like I need to throw in a 20 at least. Like, that's what other
yeah,
people were doing after that.
yeah. I think we raised over at that.
You're
Well,
over the top.
we did,
I
but
was almost ready to tell you to stop. I was like, Brian, you throw down so much money on us on
eh,
like supporting good causes,
listen,
but
those
I loved it.
families,
I was like, oh my God, the
Mike,
Gigas family.
those families need it more than I do right now. And if I can do anything to help and help out, that's all I want to do, man. You know, it's all I want to do. So,
It was beautiful.
again,
It was beautiful.
phenomenal show last night, Mike, up there with JFK on the panel. Nan was great. JFK was great. It was nice to meet them in person. Kev, James Jackson, and all the other people that I haven't seen in a while, and all the new people that I've gotten the opportunity to speak with. You know, look, if you want to come over and hang out and watch me on my channel, please do. We have a great chat over there. I try to put the best content that I can together. You know, I'm not everybody's speed, and that's fine. But if you want to have a positive experience and keep, you know, things going here in the state of Massachusetts, among other things that I reach out and I research as well too, come hang out, you know, sub to the channel and come hang out. And, you know, I said to Mike last night, hey, you know, maybe we can do something again in a few weeks and do that. We had a great show at Mazda the other night, and that's what I'm looking forward to do. But I think in the general sense of all of this, can we all just take a step back here? Let's pause and think about why we're actually really here. Is this what it's supposed to be about now? We attack and then counterpunch and attack and counterpunch. That's not what this is about. When we all work collectively together, you get more things done. And I know this will be clipped and it will be scrutinized and I'll be called a baby and all that stuff. It's fine. You know, I'm just going to keep doing my thing, keep trying to continue to grow my platform and help out as many people as I can to whatever causes that I can. And that's it. But let's get back to positivity. I think we can do that.
I love it. And I love that we were talking about the song, the Invincible song from Pat
Yeah. What are
Benatar
we
that kept
fighting
blaring
for?
last. What are we fighting for?
It's a good theme. Maybe we could start that theme, you know, starting it now and have that roll into 2026. There's a lot of work that continues to do here in the state of Massachusetts. So, Mike, you have a great platform. I'm not going to take too much of your time. You've been on for a long time. Thank you for letting me come up and speak. You know, I think you know, let's reset and start over. You know, it's a good time to do that.
Definitely. What are we fighting for? What's your next? You have any shows upcoming? Anything you want to promote on LTL True Crime?
Let's see. My next show is, and I think unfortunately, let's see. I'm Monday at 7. I got Todd and Nan back. We're going to talk Proctor. I apologize. I know you have a show. But
Thanks.
listen,
I
people
don't think
choose.
mine's gonna last that long though. I
Okay.
think yours will probably go 2 hours. We'll redirect you. That's what we'll do.
Of course. Yeah. Anytime
I'll
we can help
redirect.
out, just reach out to me and we'll do that. Good luck on your show. I know you have a guest on Monday, Kelsey Fitzsimmons' friend. I think that's going to go great for you. And I hope we can all hook up again soon.
Definitely. So we'll be checking you out 7 p.m. Monday night, LTL Media with Nan Gallagher and former Mass State Police Todd McGee. Those shows are always good, and
Three
I'm looking
amigos, as
forward
we
to-
call it. The three amigos.
the Three Amigos. Everyone's going to be looking forward to that 7 p.m.
Right.
on Monday. It's great to have you. Thank you for coming down. Thank you for supporting last night. Thank you for being so generous. I loved it. I
Yeah, of
freaking
course.
loved it, Brian. When
And Mike,
I just looked
I don't know
over, I
how
was
you
like, there he goes. There he goes again. He's love it.
Mike,
Freaking
I
love
don't. I'm not a weed smoker. I don't know how you smoke all that weed, bro.
Yeah, you're watching me. Like
Dude,
I
you
was
were-
smoking. That was nothing actually. That was like a very light night for me. I was like, man,
I'll
I
tell
haven't
you,
smoked much weed tonight.
I had a slight buzz when I left on the ride.
Just from being around me?
Dude, just the whole room.
Yeah. That was the first time you've ever probably seen me smoking on the camera too.
It
But
was
like
great.
I
Good for
usually don't
you.
smoke inside, but
Yeah.
they said it was okay. They gave you
Yeah.
the mic
Gave you
to
the
do
the
it.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
I love it. Good for you.
Awesome.
All right,
Great.
Mikey.
Thank you,
Good
Brian. Have a
show.
good night.
Thank you,
Bye
everybody.
now.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Definitely. LTL Media, check him out. Oh wow, that was great. I'm so glad he came. I hope I didn't get him high on the second. He said everybody. It wasn't just me. Was it indica? I don't know. Indica sativa. That's all the same to me. I'll take it all. Speaking of which, I'm about to hit this one. It's pretty big. This is someone's homegrown. He told me this is the good stuff. So it's a pretty good size J. It's bigger than my usual, so I'm gonna enjoy this one. That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna enjoy myself. Maybe eat some more lasagna. I got lasagna up there. I already had some chicken wings earlier. I'm always cooking. We're always cooking here. Uh, I was gonna play some more video, maybe from the NBA stuff. We never finished it, but I don't know. That stuff was kind of boring, honestly. It felt like they weren't giving us that much, honestly. So maybe another time. The Meredith stuff was kind of interesting. Um, I appreciate all the calls tonight. D was great. We had some good calls tonight. Josie, she's amazing. Everybody, all three. Sheila, and obviously LTL. Yeah, last night meatballs. Those meatballs too. Those are like real Italian meatballs. They didn't get them from like it wasn't like Chef Boyardee or whatever. That was like a real Italian joint meatball. Oh my god! And then they had the my other favorite is the broccoli chicken ziti. You know, oh, and then they had good desserts too. It was perfect. Last night was excellent. Very well done. Fancy meatball, Mike. Exactly. The Italian. You can't beat an Italian meatball. When the Italians, I said earlier, don't criticize, don't stereotype the Italians, but you got to admit the Italians know how to make meatballs. Like, oh, no Chef Boyardee stuff. It was delicious. I ate 2 plates quickly. I felt like a pig. I was like shoveling it. Um, All right, I want to thank everyone who did the super chat. Well, I got a big one from Josie. Thank you so much. Thank you for the call too. That was a phenomenal call. I loved everything she said. I think that's good advice for people too. Compete with yourself. Try to make yourself better. Whatever you're doing. It's always the key. The struggle is within. It's mental. Less worrying about what other people are doing. Like me, I've had people doing all these rage shows against me. I don't even listen to them. I don't respond. I might throw a little subliminals at them every once in a while, but I really don't give a shit because I know who I am. You know, it's very easy not to care when you're confident of who you are and what are you fighting for. I know what I'm fighting for. I'm here for Kelsey. I'm here for um, Gigalotti. I'm here for people who need me. I ain't here for the drama. You don't need me for drama. Because if I really wanted the drama, get into the drama, I could get very petty and detail oriented. My family's vicious. You don't want to fight in my family. Trust me. Trust me. Especially my mom. My mom taught me how to fight. Like my mom is a strong lady. Let's just put it that way. Most people get it from their dads. I got it from my mom. You don't. My wrestling coaches, the toughest mother effers you've ever met in your life, were afraid of my mom. That's why all her kids are tough. Every single one of her kids is tough. There's not one of us that's easy. Like not one of us doesn't like work a million hours. You know, we'll do whatever. Like we could walk through a brick wall. Yeah, I think that's what people need to get to. That shit's bothering you. Figure out why. Why is it bothering you? What's inside that's bugging you about it? And I'm not saying I don't get like that because we all get like that sometimes, and that's when you have to question and like Josie said, so many times your biggest losses are actually your biggest wins. Like I talked about it last night. One of the reasons I have a lot of empathy is because You know, I didn't get jailed. I didn't get, framed for something, but I got busted for weed, for something really stupid, possession of marijuana back when it was illegal. And it cost me probably $1 million because I lost my financial advisor career and I was at a peak and everybody wanted me. Like I was experienced. I had all the accounts. I had all the connections. I had all these bosses that had gone to other companies and they wanted me. And I wasn't going to be able to be licensed anymore because of a marijuana conviction. Not even a conviction, actually. I was never convicted. It was continued without a finding. So just the arrest basically ruined me financially and caused me great economic harm for a long time. And I also had the back injury and the cancer. So I've overcome a lot, but those losses were probably the best things that ever happened to me because number one, it humbled me. It made me have compassion and realize that you can do everything right and just screw up one time and your shit's fucked. Like, and it can be stupid. It could be just over a joint. And I'm a medical user with cancer and a bad back. And the best thing about that is I became basically the spokesperson for decrim. I went on TV and talked about like you don't want your kid to end up like me. I did everything right, but I got caught with a joint. You don't want to be that guy. That helped us get decrim, medical, and legal. It helped me get into what I'm doing now. You know. So, and once we were able to do that, I said, "Hey, how can we help other people? I'm hearing all these other causes, these other. Let's look into stuff. And I got a platform. I started writing. I got an internet show because I became kind of known for the cannabis issue. And so, like, the biggest loss of my life, the biggest defeat, losing that career, ended up being the best thing ever for me. And even when I was in that career, I was still doing some activism, even before I got busted. But that just like made me throw down even more. And it also gave me the freedom because it's always what I wanted. I didn't want to work for a company where I had a boss and I had to worry about what I was saying and doing. And I even used it. I had a name Mike Can back then because I couldn't use my real name. I got into high times with my activism and it said my name and I freaked out. I thought I was going to lose my job. So I became Mike Can. And once I lost that career, I could go back to Mike Crawford. I could be me. So, and that led to a lot of things that have happened in my life. So sometimes our biggest losses are our biggest wins, depending on how we play it. And I also look at like when I was young, when I lost my wrestling thing. That was my first real love was wrestling. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to go all the way in college. I wanted to place in New England's at Bridgewater, and I wanted to do so well at Bridgewater that BU would come and give me the scholarship that I thought I should have got my senior year. You know what I mean? Like, and it just got taken away with injuries. And the first thing I decided to do is that nobody was covering the wrestling team at Bridgewater State in the student newspaper. So I walked in and said, I'd like to write about the wrestling team. I got my first media job. Next thing I know, I'm the sports editor. I'm being paid by the Bridgewater State College to be a journalist covering sports, covering the football team, covering the wrestling team, covering the girls volleyball and the softball and the baseball and all that. And that was like my first media job. And that's because I lost wrestling. So like a lot of times our biggest losses, that's I believe it's a higher power. It's telling you something else. There's something else that you're not thinking of that we need that you're needed for something else. Now for me, I needed to get into writing and media and activism. That's probably why I lost that financial career, right? I needed to be humbled. I didn't know what people went through like that. So I love that, Josie. You were so spot on today. Oh, yes, I love this. I need to do another stock show. My son watched one of your streams and invested in something that you suggested yesterday. He told me that it doubled. I wonder what stock. Was it NVIDIA? I don't even know. Yeah, it's funny that I did that one big stock show, and I swear to God, everything I picked went through the roof. I picked all the right stocks. Yeah, it's funny. I've been killing it in the market, true. Making Money Mike is doing really good in the market. It's not that hard of a market to pick right now. It's pretty obvious what's happening in this market. I probably should do another one. I actually had a lot of people ask me last night about that. Like they want some stock tips. So maybe I will do another stock show. All right, we've been going long. I just want to check a couple things out, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I think I am missing something. Hold on, you guys are great. Funny because the other day, apparently someone was complaining about my new phone, that I got a new phone. Thank you, Barbara M. She sent $10. Thank you so much, Barbara M. on the Venmo. And I am so happy that I invested some of the donations that you guys gave me into better equipment. I get better computers. I got this better cell phone because you saw the video at the JFK. I'm gonna end the show with a little video I took. If you want to watch the entire stream from last night, it is on the JFK show off YouTube. It's a members only, so you do have to join, become a member. But I recorded a bit of it, and really the best part of the night I felt like was when Gigalotti's family got on the stage. And you'll see it's not me. You're not going to see me up on stage at that point. It's the family. That was the most important part, to hear what they had to say and to see JFK give them the money. So I'm gonna play that video to close the show. If you want to watch the whole thing, you can go on their website. But you could see how clear that video was, even inside with low lighting, not the best lighting, even in the crowd in the audience. This cell phone, this new Apple, the 17 Max, it's amazing. I'm so glad that I invested and spent some money and threw down to invest in the channel that you know the money you guys donate to us. It makes a difference. We're gonna have much better video going forward when we're streaming outside, when we're at events, and especially outside courthouses. So I want to thank you for that as well. Really appreciate that. Yeah. How dare I upgrade the phone and give you guys better content? I mean, that's the funniest thing. If I didn't upgrade, imagine if I still had that shitty phone with the shitty video and the shitty sound and the shitty reception. Why would I do that? It's like upgrading is investing in what you guys want, the better content. Like last night's video was phenomenal. It came out so good. And the Kelsey Fitzsimmons, the live stream, the video was pretty good. The audio was phenomenal. The problem was the reception. I didn't know how to turn on the hotspot. The hotspot. Now I do. So that's going to be perfect too. You know, like I said, some people just have no life. They're sitting at home. They have nothing going on. So no matter what you do, they have to complain. That's what they get off on. That makes them feel good. They would have complained if I didn't upgrade. They would have been like, "Why doesn't he get a new phone?" I want to thank you all. Before I do that, I want to check one more thing. One more. Yeah, I think I wish my phone has so many apps. It's a new phone. It's like I can't even find what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Cash App just to make sure I'm not missing it. I think I did see something come over. Oh man, there we go. I think that's it. I know some people were asking, where's the video? Where's the pictures of me dancing? I'm sure there's some video out there of me dancing. It was fun. You want more? You want more stock tips? You know, I'd say the easiest stock tip right now: just invest in Nvidia. Nvidia is like the easy money. Just keep investing in Nvidia. I mean, that's how easy the stock market is. Just buy Nvidia. If you want to buy Meta, Meta is kind of expensive now, but I'd keep buying Meta too. You know, maybe some of those like Oracle. You know, some of those cloud AI, Nebius. I buy some of that Nebius, CoreWeave, but the easy money, Nvidia. Just keep buying Nvidia. Never sell it. At least for like the next 5 to 10 years. It's just gonna keep going up. I probably did misread it, Wallflower. I'm sorry. I still have some eye issues. I'm going in next week too. Actually, yeah, this upcoming week I'm gonna have my final eye measurement thing going on. They're gonna measure my eye and then schedule surgery. I got some major cataract. It's like cataract's a minor surgery, but I'm having like the major form of it. Like it's my eye is actually pretty damaged. So hopefully this works. I got a great team, great doctor. I'm looking forward to getting that done. Friday, I'm going to be on the Grace Curley show. Monday, again, we're going to have one of Kelsey Fitzsimmons' friends on the show. It's going to be a great show on Monday night at 6 p.m. I hope you're here. Also, Howie Carr, we're probably going to have on the show later this week as well. And again, Friday, I'm going to be hosting the Grace Curley show. So it's going to be a busy week. Thank you, Sherry D. She's just gifted 10 more Young Jerks memberships. You're so great. Yes, Mazza, NVIDIA, NVDA. And especially when you see it go down. That's anytime you see NVIDIA go down, especially if it goes down like 2, 3, 4, 5% a day, buy it. I just keep buying NVIDIA. And it is expensive now because it's been going up. Like I bought it at like $60 now. But I buy it every day still. So I would always, if you're just gonna buy one stock, NVIDIA, because NVIDIA basically has not just the chip for AI, they also have like the system, this CUDA system. And so anything that's like AI, anything that, automated cars, automated shipping, all the, generative AI, the video, all that stuff, it's all going to run on NVIDIA. And so if you know that's expanding, it's going to continue to expand, NVIDIA is your buy. That's it. It's that simple. The CUDA system. Yeah, it's CUDA. And the thing about the CUDA or CUDA, I don't even know how they say it, but I always say CUDA, the CUDA, CUA, the CUDA system. But I mean, the thing about that is it's just there is some risk, obviously. The big risk I think on NVIDIA is like anything, the Trump tariffs and whether or not, the thing about NVIDIA is they rely on that's the other one I'd buy, TSMC. It's the telecom, they're the ones, the chip makers. They make all the chips in Korea. And so they actually make the chips for NVIDIA. NVIDIA designs it, and this other company, TSMC, they actually make the chips in Korea. But that's one of the issues I would be worried about is just if there's any kind of foreign stuff going on. That's the only thing that could risk NVIDIA, I think. So there's always a risk. I always say there's always a risk, no matter what you invest in. But I think NVIDIA is a good risk to invest in. This question came up. Does anyone know is using an Apple phone keep you from receiving gift memberships I have on YouTube or three? Maybe. You know what? That may be true because I'm on the iPhone. I've never gotten a free membership either. That's funny, Tammy. I think you might be right. I think you might be onto something. Apple is funny. They take more too. If you're on an Apple iPhone giving us a super chat, they take a cut too. It's not just Google, it's Apple that takes it too. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think NVIDIA is a good investment. Taiwan Semiconductor, that's the other one I was talking about. That's another good one to invest in. They make all the chips for everyone, and they make chips for everybody. No, I'm not going to Mass Ioneer, but it's basically almost the same thing where I'm going because it's all Mass General. It's all partners. They're all part of the same system now. So I'm not actually going to Mass Ioneer, but they're affiliated. Yeah, what the duck is wonderful, very wonderful. Someone said it's okay. Sheila says I've got many. I think it's in your settings in YouTube. Maybe it's a setting on the iPhone too. Who knows? That's interesting. Don't you dare upgrade. That's not allowed. Yeah, NVIDIA's been around for a while. They've been leading. Yeah, my NVIDIA's killing it. I've been really, another one I've been invested in a long time too that I think is a good one is Google. I mean, these are Amazon, Google, even Apple. Apple, I don't think is going to grow as much, but I think they're probably going to get some growth now on the phones because this is worth buying. The new phone, especially if you like the video and the audio, much better. So even Apple, Apple probably not as much of a. I used to buy. I have a lot of Apple actually. It was my biggest holding. I've sold some, and I'm buying Nvidia with it. I mean, but those companies, you can't go wrong with them. Google is another one. I think Google's discounted because people think search is going down. They think AI is going to eat into the search. It's not. AI is helping Google. So Google, you know, Alphabet is another one I would buy. Amazon's very expensive, but I think it's worthwhile buying. But Nvidia, I would just start if you're going to start with one stock, Nvidia. You're going to start with a second stock, do Taiwan Semiconductor, and then buy some other big tech companies. Yes, I did. I turned in my old phone. And I took the SIM card and all that. I made sure I reset it. All right, I'm out of here. I think I'm done. I'm going to go eat some lasagna. Late night lasagna. 10 o'clock at night, I'm eating lasagna. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate it. We didn't have a huge audience. It was last minute, but the super chats and the memberships really make it for me. So I thank you so much for donating and watching, and thank you for all the good comments tonight as well, and the calls. The calls really made it too. I think we need to do more open phone lines. I think we're gonna do more of that upcoming. I like that. It's fun, especially like that women are calling in. I love the women of the movement. That's another thing I liked about the JFK shows. I hope they come back and do some shows. I love their open calls, and I love that a lot of women are calling. And I met some of them last night, and they're wonderful. I danced with one of them. She's she's unbelievable. I think you know who I'm talking about. I loved a lot of the people I met last night. It's a lot of fun. All right, make sure you subscribe and like and check back because, like I said, we'll have some shows this week. Definitely Monday night. Be here at 6 p.m. Please. I'm gonna redirect you now to that show on Monday night at 6 p.m. Uh, it's not till Monday at 6, so you're not gonna be hanging out till then. But hit the notification button on the way out to make sure you get notified when we go live on Monday night. You don't want to miss this. Trust me. This is Kelsey's best friend who flew in for the last court hearing. This is going to be a big show on Monday night. I'll see you then, everyone. Have a great night.